Hello and welcome to our D&D live stream campaign. We're starting out with our session 0 and yeah, we have the usual suspects here. Plus uh our new addition Zell. And well, he has it on the can't see everybody's screen, but
I'm
yeah.
so sorry. I was fixing my chat audio. Hello. We're here.
Okay. Anyways, Um, so anywho, tonight we'll be doing kind of our beginning session 0 kind of ordeal. And then with next week we'll be actually starting the actual campaign with session 1. So this one's just kind of to get everybody a little used to their characters and kind of um kind of get a feeling of where they're coming from and stuff. So it's not just like, okay, I'm throwing you guys in the deep end of the pool here, figure out how to swim. So, alrighty. With that, since the first group I have here, if I can have everybody who is not Lonnie and Aster go ahead and mute, block camera, all that fun stuff. And I will message the rest of you when we looks like Bubba's having some difficulties there. There we go. Okay. Right. And like I said, just go ahead and mute yourselves, and with the exception of Lonnie and Aster and Stefan, and I will message online when it's time for the next group. Okay. So, Aster and Lonnie, or I guess I should say, Ane and Umi. Both of you kind of start this journey off coming from the port city of Nightingale. From there, it was more of a meeting of happenstance and convenience. Uh, Umi not really having much direction after she decided to leave what she was doing, and Ane having a general idea of where he's going to go, but nobody really to go with. It just kind of seemed to work. Safety in numbers kind of a situation. Is you both make your way up to the town of Riostile. As you guys go along, doesn't seem like anything of big particular happenstance happens. You guys occasionally meet traveling, other traveling folks, maybe a couple of merchants and stuff. Um, a spot here and there, you probably kind of spot is that could possibly be trouble, but nothing seems to come of it. Could possibly be because you guys don't look like that you guys are carrying much of anything valuable on you. Um, as you guys continue to make your way to, like I said, make your way to the outskirts of Riostile, a town known for their production of a very unique strand of sugarcane, mostly used a lot in the production of rum. Like I said, as you guys enter town, what would you two like to do?
So I take it this picture we see is pretty accurate as far as like what kind of town this is.
Eh,
Like it's mostly just
yeah, it's
like
kind of a rough representation. There's mountains off in the back. Um, Neither one of you are from here, so you really don't know the name of the mountains. Uh, But there's mountains off in the back, vast fields of sugarcane, a couple of other like uh look like places that grow like tropical fruits and such, more kind of a mixture between like a real life Caribbean and possibly Florida. So like oranges, bananas, coconuts, that kind of stuff. A couple of livestock farms. Again, a couple of bodies of water that more than likely have some kind of life in it that can be used for other sources of food other than livestock. Um, like I said, kind of, more towards the center of this town as you guys kind of go exploring around, stuff like that. And, it seems to be a town center. Something seems to be going on there. Not quite sure. There's a large, not too far away from town center. There's a large building. It's with a sign outside the front that says the Rainy Drum Tavern, and possibly the other notable things that you guys notice is like wisps of white smoke off in the distance coming from about 3 different locations. Not quite sure what they are without going and investigating them, but it is something.
Okay, so there's a lot of meat on this bone. Hey,
Yeah, it's yeah.
Umi. So did you have a particular reason for your journey here?
Kind of stretching my wings, looking to make some money elsewhere. Have a fresh start.
Well, there's that rainy drum, but I don't know. Me personally, I'm looking to get out of the rain, so to speak. But
I
it
guess
looks
I'll
like
explain the I guess I'll explain the weather. It's not raining right now. You're not quite sure why it has the name the Rainy Drum Tavern, but
yeah.
it's
A name's
it's
making a euphemism, to be clear.
yeah, yeah, I know, but you reminded me I didn't really explain what the weather's like. It's
Yeah.
it's lightly cloudy. Doesn't look like, of course, with your travels for the couple of days, it's kind of weird. It's like Florida, you just randomly walk and all of a sudden it's like, why the hell is it raining?
So there's white wisps on the horizon. Do they look more like steam or smoke?
More like clean burning smoke, I would say.
Okay.
It's pretty easy to tell. It doesn't look like black, dirty, like burning.
Yeah, it's not like
Um,
a house fire or something in the distance or anything like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like a house fire or anything like that. It's more of a clean burning fire. Again, not quite sure. Um, and you're not quite sure how far off in the distance they are, but
All right. Well, as far as
and
I'm concerned, there's the tavern, which I'd really rather avoid, or we can check out what's going on at the square. What do
Sure.
you think, Umi?
Let's check out the square, and if you want, I can check out the tavern, and we can rendezvous later.
okay. All right. So, you know what? Both of you roll me a d20. I'll see who I start with.
Oh, baby. Dungeons and Dragons is back.
Okay. Looks like I'm starting with looks like I'm starting with Umi. So, Umi, we'll start with you. Great. So as you enter in this tavern, it's pretty busy. You guys have come. I'd say you guys probably arrived here probably maybe a little bit after lunch, so maybe about 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Um, you notice behind the tavern, behind like the counter, uh, you know, grabbing drinks, taking care of people's orders and stuff like that. Seems to be this red-haired female, half elven, um, lady. Like I said, she seems to be taking people's orders and stuff like that, and occasionally yelling back towards the back. You hear like an occasional from the back, like a male voice come shouting from the back. So, um, from what you hear and stuff like that, it sounds like orders for food being placed.
Mm-hmm.
I guess people eating late meals and stuff like that. And another person seems to be like this dirty brown hair, um, short little female halfling barmaid. seems to be scurrying from table to table, bringing out food and drinks and such. For such a small person, she seems to be moving at incredibly quick speeds. Probably because she's the only one here that's on the other side of the counter serving and stuff like that. So she probably has to be. Not quite sure if there's others that work at other time points today, but this is what you see currently. Um, there seems to be some minstrels probably wondering, seem to be setting up and stuff like that to play some music and such. I would say behind the bar, you notice like giant, like huge barrels, and on each of the barrels seem to be sort of like decals kind of printed on these barrels with the names Bronze Dust, Snake Mark, and Soft Dane written on these barrels. And they have like little decals, like Snake Mark kind of has this snake kind of curling around it, and Bronze Dust looks like somebody's mining, and Soft Dane looks like this posh person kind of leaning up against the back of the E on Soft Dane. Looks like whoever put the money into designing these and stuff like that. Looks like somebody put a decent amount of coin in there, and they're pretty well done. Um, Looking around, you notice, like I said, patrons at the bar, at tables and stuff like that, drinking, eating, and stuff like that. Probably another thing that kind of catches your attention seems to be a big board with a bunch of different posts all over it.
Excellent.
Um,
I
what would you
make
like
my
to
way
do?
towards the board, please.
Towards towards the board.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, you get some looks. You stand out like a sore thumb here. I will put that. For example, this big hulking 7 foot tall cat person.
She's going to stand out like
Um,
a sore thumb everywhere she goes.
well, she didn't really stand out so much as a sore thumb so much back in Nightingale, but here definitely. But yeah, um, you know, like I said, some people just the lady behind the bar kind of keeps an eye on you and stuff like that. Not quite sure if you're going to go sit down or come up and order something, but wants to at least be attentive instead of just like ignoring you flat out. But if you're not going to do anything, then she has other people to worry about. And kind of the same thing with the half. Now, well, the halfling's a little bit more busy, so not really coming up to you and greeting you or anything like that, and like, "Oh, hi, how many? Would you like a table or booth?" or anything like that. But
Mm.
as you walk up to the board, you notice, like I said, a bunch of different posts. Some of them are very, very mundane. Things like, like farmers looking to, or livestock owners looking to sell or buy different um like tools, or start selling livestock or produce and stuff like that. um Outside of that, probably what would you're like, well, that doesn't catch my attention or anything like that. Other than that, there's a couple of posts from farmers looking for jobs for extermination. And then outside of that, you notice 3 posts, all with the same names as those barrels. The bronze dust, the snake mark, and the soft dane. Each one seems to be having a flyer looking for temporary help at the moment. Mostly dealing with um kind of think of it kind of as warehouse work.
Okay. Uh,
So, well, if you're not ordering or anything like that, that's pretty much what you get out of the situation. And I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to Aster, unless you have something that you want to role play with, like people or anything like that.
yeah, go ahead, Aster.
Okay, Aster. As you kind of go towards the town square, you notice there seems to be hammering and nailing, putting together like booths, stalls. Kind of looks like a performing stage. Like I said, just kind of in this big, massive town square. Um, you know, there seems to be like a statue of this, of like a half elven man and stuff like that standing there. Uh, made out of a decent stone. It's not like it's amazing, and it's not gold or silver or any other kind of rare metal, but it's like, okay, well, there's this statue in the middle of town, in this square. As like I said, they're seem to be setting up something. There's booths being put up. Like I said, like a stage being put together, poles being pulled up, and banners ran across the top of them. People, like I said, working back and forth. Seems like foot traffic in this area is kind of being sent around on the outskirts so these workers can work here. Um, Outside of that, without interacting with anybody, that's pretty much all that you get from this town square.
Okay, so it looks like people are setting up for some kind of festival or fair, is kind of like the
Yeah,
vibe I'm
so
getting.
yeah, you're assuming, yeah.
Does it look like
Without
based on the progress it'll be ready by tonight?
not tonight. You guys looks like it might be about 3 or 4 days out.
Okay.
So, you guys are kind of getting more towards the very beginning parts and stuff like that. And there seems to be a couple of people directing these others who are working. Um but yeah, what would you like to do? Are you just going to be like, "Oh, well, they're setting up for a fair. Okay, I'm done here."
Uh, well, you said that there's like foot traffic that aren't just like the builders and stuff, right? Like there's like
Yeah.
regular people walking through.
Yeah, they're not walking through town square. They're kind of being kind of like redirected more towards the outskirts and stuff like that. And I would say you also probably noticed this and such. Just in case, just to kind of make sure that nothing goes wrong or anything like that. There are maybe about 3-ish, give or take, kind of guards kind of in the area. They're kind of easy to see. As you've seen them before. The Give me a second here. You've heard their names, and you've heard what they've been called before. The the Stadero. But you've seen them before. They kind of wear like blue garb and such. Kind of
Sotero?
get in. Uh, Sidero, yes.
Sodero. Okay.
SIDERO,
Okay.
and there's a little over the I.
Ah, an accent.
Yeah. Um. You know. mm, they just look like your run of the mill guards. You're more likely to just kind of keep order, make sure that there's like not really much interfering with them doing the construction stuff in the middle, or if there's issues or something like that, they're kind of there on site and stuff like that. Um, you know, they're very easy to notice. Though these don't seem to be holding them right now, but you probably assume that they have them somewhere nearby. But one of the main sites of these guards are these spears that they call man catchers. They're these big opened in circular spears with spikes that face towards the middle.
Ooh.
You're not quite sure what they're, you haven't seen them used, but you can kind of imagine what they're used for.
Yeah.
Um,
Collaring
but
people.
more than likely,
Kinda.
your wisdom and perception stuff, you can kind of come to your own conclusions and stuff. But yeah,
Well, me, the player, has seen those before. So,
yeah.
uh,
Well, you, the character, has seen them,
yeah,
just not in action.
fair. Uh, so I think Ane's internal monologue is going something like he was kind of sent here for reasons that isn't really known. Like he doesn't really
Hmm.
know exactly, but he just like kind of knows that when uh when when it feels right, like he'll know, with regards to like what he has to do. So
Hmm.
I think he's just gonna kind of roll the dice per se and just kind of yell towards crowds of people like, "Hey, anybody need a fist fighter or a priest or anything like that, or
Fist fighter.
Those are two very different things.
He's a very weird character. Don't worry about it.
yeah." I can seal up the dead to make sure they don't walk again. I can beat somebody bruised and battered. If you need any help like that, let me know. Also, I have a new acquaintance who can help me out. If you need a job for two people, we're talking a big cat.
Okay. Roll me a persuasion check.
Okay.
We're just kind of gonna see how well this radiates among the people. 7. Okay. Um, a lot of people seem to be keeping their distance from you. You seem to be kind of a very strange person.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, one of the workers that's currently taking a break, kind of gets up and walks towards your direction. So, it's not like you're off-putting everybody. He walks up to you. Yeah, I'm gonna say the human male. Seems to be having like a receding hairline, black hair. Seems to be probably 40s to 50s. So a decent bit older than you. Um, kind of a bit of 5 o'clock shadow. Sun beaten. Just and fairly dark skin, especially compared to you. Well, compared to you, very dark skin.
Hmm.
Um, but he walks up to you and he's like, well, I don't know about any of that kind of stuff. Um, but if you're looking for work, uh, I'm sure they got some posts over in the tavern. Usually, people who are looking for work usually go there and look for, usually get work from there. Another option might be the guard. Um, uh, basically uh not it's not really a guard outpost, but basically where they have the stockade and such, and the guards are usually at. I forget the technical word for it. I don't spend much time there. I don't plan on getting arrested, so you know. But anyways, sometimes occasionally they might have work. Um, sometimes they post it. Sometimes you have to go directly to them. That's just totally up to you. Whatever you want to do. But just a few suggestions, stranger, is kind of notice yelling in the middle of town kind of gets people to think you're, especially with what you're yelling and such, seems to get people to think that you're a little unhinged.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to avoid the tavern myself. Because I kind of view some of those people and that frequent those places to be a little unhinged. So I'm trying to steer clear of that. So
Okay, well,
maybe I'll check out these gods.
okay, well. Anyways, good luck to you, stranger. And he kind of turns back and must have been pretty close to getting done with his break, as he seems to be going back to work. Okay, so anything specific that you're doing, Lonnie? Anything more that you're doing, Aster? Or are you two just going to go ahead and meet up?
I would
I
like to
will
meet up.
grab. Okay, let me grab like the notices on the notice board for work, and then I will meet up with Aster.
Okay, so are you pulling off like all the notices, or just certain ones that appeal more to you?
Um, just the ones for like extermination and the hired
Um,
hand help for the 3 families or whatever.
yeah, yeah. As you go through and start pulling these off, um, the lady behind the tavern, she goes, excuse me, would prefer for you not to tear all those off of the board. And as you're kind of reading through them, you notice like the ones for the families are for like quite a few days. They're not just
Mm,
one and done deals.
okay. I'll leave those ones there then. I'll just take the extermination ones.
Oh, okay. Are you looking for a bigger payout? Or are you looking for a lower payout? Let's put it that way.
Bigger payout probably.
Okay, go ahead and roll me. Actually, no, you really don't need to roll anything. It's very easy to tell. The extermination ones don't seem like they'll pay very much. You know, it's from farmers, and the paper and stuff is very very poor quality and stuff like that. You kind of feel like it might be a couple copper.
Ugh. Okay.
The other ones don't really they look better, so you're like, okay, those will probably the work the ones for a couple of days probably will be paying more. Um,
All
so
right. I'm just gonna leave them there, and I'll just meet up with Aster, and I will let him know what I found.
All right.
okay, all right, okay. So as you both kind of meet out, kind of halfway between the town center and the rainy drum. Um, okay, what are you guys doing?
Oh, look at
How did
you,
your
Paul's full of
expedition?
papers.
No, no, she
I
didn't take
left
any of
them
them.
all there.
Oh, okay.
How did
You
yours
you
work
kind of you kind of
share?
you kind of notice that there's like bits of paper kind of stuck to her claws.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like there's not a lot of high-end work here in this small town. So, I didn't really find anything worth our time. How about you? Did you find anything interesting?
Uh, I was told I look like a deranged person.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
It looks like they're setting up for some kind of festival here that'll be like later in the week. Uh, Maybe with your strength you could help them have it tonight. I don't know. Uh, but other than that, since you already checked the tavern, that was one of the things the townsperson told me. The other option was maybe we could talk to some gods. You know, where they stay. You know where guards live?
Maybe like a guard outpost? Is there anything like super obvious that looks like a guard outpost here?
I there's some
Not not, not
there's some
right away,
guards
but
over there. You can ask them.
yeah, I was gonna say with some asking around, you can definitely figure out where it is.
All
It wouldn't
right.
be that hard.
I'll ask around and ask for, I guess, the guard headquarters or outpost or whatever, wherever they live.
Okay. Um. All right. So yeah, eventually you talk around and kind of through words. Eventually, you find out, and you're like, oh right. You're gonna want you're gonna want the lawmaster's hold, and they kind of direct you to it and such. As you make your way there, it's not anything spectacular. But you can kind of tell that of what it is and such like that. Mostly because of the foot traffic and stuff like that. The guards have picked up more as you kind of gotten here. Some, like I said, seem to be in a lot less armor, and weaponry seems to be a little bit lower quality. Some of them seem to be a little bit higher quality. It just doesn't, you're not quite sure how the guard system works here. Obviously, as you both are kind of newcomers to this kind of area, but you do eventually find yourself outside of this hold. Um, Uh, like I said, it's nothing spectacular, but it looks like it's fairly well fortified. It could probably hold for a while if it had to. Um, Probably the most defensible position here. Uh, Anyways, what would you guys like to do?
Is there someone in sight worth jawjacking to?
Okay, so going inside, um, you notice going inside, it kind of seems like it branches off, probably more towards like a barracks and stuff like that. There seems to be another path that kind of leads down, probably assuming maybe that might be where they have the cells and stuff like that. And the main chamber here seems to be in a couple of different places and such. Okay. Just watching Feugy there for a second. Anyways, the main chamber here seems to be seems to be like one part seems to be kind of like a courtroom, and another part seems to be kind of more along the lines of pay your fines and you know
Parking tickets.
yeah, for those who don't know how to park their horse or carriage, you get your tickets and stuff like that. But kind of a clerk's desk that kind of takes care of the paperwork and such. And other than the occasional guard coming in, coming out, kind of keeping an eye on you guys since you guys are just like randomly here. Trying to make sure that you guys aren't going to do anything dubious. Um, You notice like a male gnome, white, big bushy beard, kind of a friar tuck on top of his head. Um, Seems to be wearing the same kind of outfit as the guards. Like that blue kind of tunic cloth. Um, the only difference is instead of wearing more of what you've seen of like the scale mail and stuff like that, he seems to be wearing more of just leathers. You're assuming more than likely it's just if he needs the protection, he has it. But you kind of have a feeling outside of being a clerk, he probably doesn't see a whole lot of guard work. Kind of have a feeling he's probably more hired for his mind rather than his guarding capabilities, shall we say. Anywho, he seems to be like currently you're assuming he's probably sitting on like a really tall stool just to be able to see up on top of this desk and stuff like that. Because the desk is up pretty high, and he seems to be, writing in a book. He has big old giant stack of papers, just all sorts of probably yeah, probably just about that. Seems to be working in a book, just a couple papers, probably working. He seems to be grabbing paper and kind of transcribing stuff into this kind of probably at the moment while he's not really doing too much, just kind of keeping track of the books. Anywho, what would you two like to do?
Guess I'm gonna approach him and I'd like to ask him if he has any odd jobs or work that the guard might need help with.
Okay, so you notice, like I said, he seems to be writing in this book and such. Doesn't really seem to be looking up towards you and stuff. And he responds. He's like, "Ah, yes. Well, unfortunately for you two," he kind of looks up and just makes sure that there's two of you. Our job that kind of fits that description has already been filled by others. If we don't hear back from them in about 5 days, come back and ask. Maybe we'll have need for a party to go out and make sure that the people that we sent out ahead of you or ahead hasn't somehow wound up dead.
Is there some ongoing problem or something?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's just somebody over exaggerating.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. This sounds like a story here. What's been going on? Sorry, we're from out of town, just looking for work.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Oh man.
It's great. I got two people who aren't really great at persuasion making chat.
Hey.
18. Okay. He looks up at you and such. Um. Oh. don't worry too much about it. It's just like I said, probably some over imagination of some workers who are were prospecting for a new mine. Uh, Said they got attacked by some giant wolf creature. It's probably just some regular wolves that'll be dispatched here in a day or two. Nothing to worry about.
Sounds like something to worry about.
Well, as we said, we've already hired help to take care of that. And like I said, if we don't hear back from him in 5 days, maybe we might start worrying, and maybe you might have work in that case. But as it stands right now,
Let's
we
say
have
we just wanted to go check it out. What direction would we want to go in?
roll me a persuasion check. 15. I'm sorry, but I believe I've said too much as it is. Like I said, check back in 5 days. We might have work for you then. Until then, I'm sure there's other work that big, strong, burly people like you can do. Go check the tavern. They always have work.
Right. We'll be back. Going to make my way outside.
I follow the big cat.
Okay. So, what are you guys doing?
Is there any like other type of farmhand or maybe someone who looks like they do a little bit of mining that I can see around?
Not here, really, honestly, to tell you the truth. Not to mention, the people and stuff like that. It'd take you a long time. Maybe a tavern. Maybe the
Okay.
rainy drum might be a good idea for
Okay.
finding people, but because it's more of a condensed space and you can kind of judge and stuff like that.
Well, I know
Um,
you don't really want to go to the tavern, but if you want me to ask around, I might be able to dig up some more information on what's going on.
I I'm sure I could. I'm sure I could go in with you. I shouldn't hurt. Just don't let me have any of that sweet nectar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we'll make it quick. We'll be in and out.
okay, go ahead, and as you guys make your way to the rainy drum, easy enough. Slight changes, but not much. Um, okay, go ahead. You looking for miners? I take it.
Yeah,
Both of you, or just one of you?
I will help.
You will help. Okay. Advantage then Delani.
for perception.
Yep.
Okay.
18. Okay. Takes you a little while, but you do find some mining, um, a couple of miners, not too many. Um, what would you like to do?
Uh, I would like. Are they drinking already?
Yeah, they're looks like they've been, they're drinking kind of lightly, not heavily. Um, Mostly just to kind of go along with a meal.
Okay. How many are there? Are there more than one? Are there like a couple of them?
Let's say about 3. All humans.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm gonna go to the bar and ask for like a bottle of nice rum.
okay. As you
I
go
can
up
afford
and
that.
as you go up and you ask for a bottle of rum, the like I said, the redhead, the bar, the looks like probably the proprietor of this establishment goes, "Which family?"
What do you recommend?
Oh, depends on taste, really. Mm, I would say not gold dust, bronze dust, or snake mark have gotten blessings from high holding folks in the Plutos syndicate, but Softane has its own merits to it. Just depends on what you like.
All right, well, I'll take a bottle of bronze dust.
Okay. She looks, she goes through and she's like, okay, that'll be about 4 pieces of gold.
I slide 4 pieces of gold across the bar.
You have 4 pieces of gold?
I do, I have 10. Just kidding, I have 6 now.
Do you have 10? Okay, I'm just checking.
It's me who only has 4 pieces of gold. Yeah,
Okay.
no way.
Okay. All right. So you slide the 4 pieces of gold. She, goes through and pulls out, fairly nice looking bottle. It has the logo on it. Like I said, kind of looks like this miner's working and pushing around, like a mining cart. Tools and such coming out of it and such. Um. Anyways, okay. So you got your bottle of rum.
All right, I would like to make my way over to the table of miners.
Okay.
And I'm going to approach them and set the bottle down. And is there a free seat at this table? Because if there is, I'm going to sit in it.
Yeah, it looks like you can sit about 6 people.
Great. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to be like, you look like some hard-working gentlemen.
One of them looks over. You're just holding this bottle, and is like, "Well, you look like you're a pretty hard drinker yourself."
Oh, I brought this to share with potentially new friends. So,
Interesting.
I stopped by the police station, the guards outpost.
Oh, you mean the Lawmaster's hold?
Yeah, the Lawmaster told, and he had mentioned something about some trouble with some new mines out in the
He.
mountains. He?
Last time I checked, it wasn't. Yeah, last time I checked, I know that for sure the Lawmaster was a female.
Well, who I spoke to, the little gnome clerk. He, yeah.
I see. You're talking about Cobblebelt.
Sure, Cobblebelt. He, told me there was some trouble at the new mines. Would you happen to know anything about that?
The mines. No, not that we know of.
Okay. He said it was, I guess, they're scouting to open up some new mines, so.
Oh, you mean prospect? No, we're not any of the prospectors. We're just regular old miners.
Oh, would you, know who to point me to get some more information about that?
Oh, that's a good question. That is a very good question. Huh. Yeah, I think if you were to do anything like that, you would need to go to one of the families that own the mines.
Okay. Is there a specific family looking to expand there?
Not that we know of from for who we work for.
Okay. Well, thank
You
you for your
know,
time, gentlemen.
oh, well, you're welcome. Like I said, sorry couldn't be of too much help, but doesn't seem like anything that, kind of falls under what we would know of. You know, they kind of prefer not to mingle with competitors when it comes to business and such, so kind of keep to our own and such.
Right. All right. Well, I leave and I take my bottle with me.
Okay. Take your bottle of rum with you. One of them was just like kind of here. Damn, I really could have used a free drink.
All right. I'm gonna
But
put it in my
anyways,
backpack for now and make my way back to.
okay, bottle of rum in your backpack.
Now, Umi, I know we just met, and maybe I'm not a great judge of character here, but did I just witness you trying to serve alcohol to minors?
My. Yeah, that was yeah. I was, trying to finesse some information out.
Ah, good shit.
Yeah, I
So
didn't get
what's the
anything.
plan
So.
now?
Well, we could always just go straight to the source and find one of these head families.
Yeah, I suppose we could.
I
So,
don't think we're gonna get any more information here.
so
Okay.
you think about going to the one you bought a bottle for?
Yeah, we can start
Be
with them.
be kind of weird to I don't know, walk into another family's place with the competitor's bottle of rum.
All right.
Okay. So,
So,
okay. Yeah. Um, that's totally up to you. So what are you guys doing?
um, guess we're leaving the tavern again. And
Okay.
is there like a map anywhere or like a store where we could get a map?
We could ask you new friends.
Yeah, I already said goodbye. It'd be weird to sit back down.
You're a 7 foot tall, like muscular giantess.
Cat
Like you do what you want.
Yeah, you're right. All right, I go sit back down with the miners.
Yeah, I'm very confused. Like, didn't you just leave? Okay.
Would you gentlemen
Yeah.
happen to know how to find the Bronze Dust family?
Oh, the bronze dust. There. Let's see here. Yeah, they're going to be off towards the east, aren't they? Yeah, the bronze dust is off towards the yeah towards the east side. Large, large. I mean, you can hardly miss it. Just this big old just basically distillery warehouse and a bunch of smaller homes nearby. I think it's for their plantation workers, but and pretty large house nearby. This is big kind of complex off towards the east end of town. Hardly miss it.
Great, thanks. All right, and I'll leave again. Quick, skedaddle, let's go to the east.
Okay. They're kind of like, kind of looking like, she's gonna leave anything? No. Okay, well, maybe not give out
Keep dangling
information
the
so
carrot.
easily next time.
Just keep dangling that carrot. Okay. So
All right.
we head east towards I guess the most conspicuous building we find.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, it's one of the places where the white plumes of smoke is coming from.
Okay.
As you get closer, plume gets bigger, and you kind of get the idea and stuff like that. There's this just big old distillery warehouse. Um, you know, a big old giant plantation field. Um, probably what you'd consider a mansion, kind of a ways from the distillery. And looks like it's kept very nice. Like the yard's kept like very nice. There's like shrubbery and like you know, different poses and stuff like that. Kind of varying along the theme of this whole entire like minor. It seems to be like shrubberies cut and like workers pushing carts of probably what you assume precious metals and stuff like that, or somebody looking like he's swinging a pickaxe at a wall or something like that, and just out of these shrubberies and out in the yard and stuff. It's okay. This is probably where quite a bit of the money in town is basically what you guys are thinking. Um, like I said, the house very nice. The distillery really nice. The homes for the workers adequate. Probably the best way to put it. Anyways, um, as you come up, like I said, these seem to be guarded more by private guards rather than the kind of like what you've seen before with the Staderos. Um anyways, you guys kind of approach, this person who seems to be kind of like standing guard towards the front and stuff like that. Seems to be like business.
Uh, we're
Yeah,
What's your
here.
business?
We saw the post down at the tavern. We wanted to speak about some potential work.
Ah, right. Follow me, and kind of leads you towards one of the big giant distillery, distillery warehouse. Seems to take you. Give me a second. Seems to take you. There's this really, blonde haired half elf, hair kind of tied back into a ponytail and such like that. Seems to be giving orders and stuff like that to these to people who are kind of working in this like where basically this warehouse. They're moving barrels and crates and stuff like that. Um, is you get closer, this guard goes, uh, Zenlor, we got two more. Guessing they're wanting to work. Anywho, I'll let you talk to them. If you need any help, I'm pretty sure some of the other, guards will be nearby. They can probably hear you. Anyways, as you guys approach, like I said, he seems to be like, hold on one moment. Kind of detailing where people need to be taking and moving these materials to. And he's like, okay, seems I have a moment. Anywho, what can I do for you two? Heard you are looking for work here. Correct?
Yeah, we saw your post down at the tavern.
Good, good, good. Just to let you know, we little shorter on hand than what we needed to be for the festival coming up. So, you will be working here, moving crates and barrels and such from the warehouse here to the wagons, as he kind of points over there, to be sent to where the festival will be taking place. And you know, just the only ones that you will not be handling are those crates over there. As he kind of points off to some crates that are kind of covered up over with a tarp and stuff. Those are special. Um, I've been told not to let anybody near those who are not designated to do so. So, anyways, if you guys do not have any other questions, I'm assuming not. You will be working here, as he kind of points out to this like area, and like I said, just moving these crates and barrels from here to the wagons.
We can do that.
Okay, all right. As
Sounds
you kind
good.
of
While we're
as you
doing
ca-
this, I kind of
Mhm.
also want to like just keep my ears perked for any information like the other workers are talking about regarding like the mining or anything, any troubles.
Okay. A lot of the workers that you hear that you hear and stuff like that seem to be excited for the festival that's coming up. As you guys are going through this, both of you roll me strength checks.
I'm good at those.
Yikes.
Oh, that was a save. I'm sorry.
Strength save. So we just take off two. So yeah, 21 and 4. Um, yeah. Ane, you basically are like, okay, you are working with another worker. You are not strong enough, even though you look very physically fit
Mhm.
to move these crates and stuff like that. Umi, if things are not too cumbersome, you walk around with like two crates on your shoulder or two barrels. If it gets too cumbersome, you're just carrying all by yourself. Just seems to be no issue for you whatsoever. And the other guys are like, where did they find that one? Dear God, we'll be done in no time.
We
Uh
balance each other out.
Yeah.
Pretty much. You're maybe a little slowing this guy down who's helping you. And he's like, God, I just want to get done. Hurry up. Anyways, this goes on for about, probably about 3 hours or so. Before there's a disturbance, you notice, is this, this half elfin that you've heard, Zenlor kind of dictating such, um, you know, things going on and such. A figure comes running up and he's like, uh, uh, he's like, Dockmaster, we have an issue. We have a green snake out in the field. Uh, big giant, and just explaining this situation of this big snake that seems to have come out of nowhere. Um, what are you two doing?
Oh yeah, I knew a guy like that way back in the day.
Not that kind of snake.
uh, my ears will pick up and I'll be like, "Do you need assistance handling this?" And I'm gonna like put one hand on my greatsword.
Yeah, Ane produces one hand through his kimono sleeve, holding a folded up 3-section staff.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Both of
Both
us?
of you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Not so much Yumi, even though she's big, giant, strong. He's like, if I send her to go do this, then we won't be moving as fast with that. But Ane, you're not really the fastest working around here and stuff like that. But you both seem to be kind of a package deal. He's like, all right, fine. I was going to go look for the guards, but if you two think you can take care of it, then you two take care of it. Um, might be able to convince them to throw in some extra money, some extra coins for you, but no guarantees on that.
Great.
So,
Let's go.
are you okay? So, as you both follow this one person who leads you out towards the sugarcane fields, you notice scurrying and running away seems to be different workers, and you notice just kind of occasionally bopping its head out from the sugarcane, kind of looking around and slithering towards these folk. It's this big giant snake. You thought he might have been exaggerating, but he was not. I need everybody to please roll me initiative.
Looking at this snake fills me with nostalgia.
I used to have one of those, and then somebody let it die.
Jesus.
Okay, give
Oh.
me a second here.
I guess you know what's up.
Nope, I need to select that and initiative. Okay. Sorry, Aster. Okay, so currently with initiative, it's we got Umi, then the snake, then the people, and then last an A. Okay, so Umi, what are you doing?
Um, I would like to get as close as I can.
So that's
Oh, that's really
35
far.
feet.
Okay. That's 35 feet, and then can I use my action to dash to get all the closer?
Yeah, you can if you want to. Uh,
Okay.
so that would be 70 feet.
Okay.
That'd get
Great.
you, like I said, right about there.
Okay. Gonna do that.
You just all of a sudden you just watch Umi just surprisingly fast for such a big girl. Okay, anything else, or you just that doing it?
That's it for now.
Okay. All right, the snake. Uh, yeah, noticing you, I would say the snake is probably going to try to go though it would provoke an opportunity attack. It's going to try to go after a easier meal, but if you want to use your reaction to use an opportunity attack, you can.
I would love to. That's just a
Okay.
regular attack, right? With
Yeah,
like my
that's
okay.
just yeah, with your great sword. Oh, we'll ignore the +2 because
Oh yeah. I don't know why
you
that's
didn't turn that off.
checked.
Okay, and we'll turn off your rage too, since that's not technically going. Okay, and if I remember right, you had the sentinel feat.
Yep.
Okay, so 21. Yeah, that will definitely hit this snake for 10 points of damage. As you go and swing your sword into the snake, um, yeah, it stops dead in its tracks. And what do I want to do? Uh, yeah, you hit it. So I think it's going to be pissed off at you. So it's going to try to constrict you. No, an 8 does not hit.
Nope. Oh, look at the cute little snake. He's trying to
Oh
hug
shoot,
me.
I didn't set that up right. Always whisper. Okay. Didn't know that was set up to where you guys could see it. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So the snake reaches out and tries to grab onto you, but you're just too quick for it, and you manage to dodge out of the way as it starts trying to wrap up around your leg. You know, lift your foot out of the way. That does it for the snake. Uh, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Yeah, that one's gonna go 60. Yeah, the snake is going to use its bite to make an opportunity attack against that one that's running away. Uh, yeah. The snake manages to lunge out and bite this young girl who seems to be running away. She is commoners don't have much health. She is. We'll just do that. She is unconscious right now as the snake just and just lunges out and bites on bites her side. Um yeah. Uh yeah. Yeah, those ones that are kind of up on the border are ones that managed to uh yeah, that one, is starts running uh turns and looks and watches as that one kind of like is they're trying to run away. Actually, mhm. Yeah, I think she would have been more concerned about trying to get away from the snake than yeah. So, anyways, um, yeah, Ane, you kind of notice that this last worker that's out and towards the field and stuff like that didn't fall over and stuff, um, seems to be a male human, just looks like in shock and like terrified at
Okay.
this young human female who just mm, fell. Speaking of which, it's you and your owl's turn.
Yeah, so hey, don't worry, I'll take care of this. What's the range of my bow again? Sorry, this is a whole new world to me.
Your bow, I think it's like 100 and something normally, and oops, that's not what I wanted. Yeah,
But I can hit something just fine 75 feet away.
I would say because of the plants and stuff like that, he's going to have
Some
half
kind of
cover,
partial
so he's going to
cover.
be
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, half cover, which means he's gonna have a +2 to his AC, but other than that.
Okay. I So I'm concocting a plan in my head. I was going to just sit here and like shoot my bow, but because there's somebody downed, I feel like it's my duty right now to kind of tr- get myself in the way of the snake and the downed person. But I don't
Okay.
think I can reasonably do it this turn. So I think what I'm going to do
Um,
is
I'm trying to think here. You have plus, so you have 40, and you have Step of the Wind.
I have to look into that. Step of the wind.
Step of the Wind is a
Oh, it's a
bonus
bonus. Okay,
action.
bonus action dash.
Yeah, so you can technically bonus action dash for 80 feet.
Does my bow have a minimum range?
Less than 5 feet.
Okay, okay.
So if you're right next to a monster, it's disadvantage. If you're further than that, it's fine.
Okay. So, I feel like this kind of changes the complexion of things. I am going to get in the way of this snake, and
Okay.
I am going to two-handed quarterstaff bludgeon the fuck out of the snake with my
Okay.
kakara.
Okay. Yeah, 16 will hit. Is you just get your quarterstaff and like you know, as it's kind of recoiling, thinking about going for a second strike. You just run up and just wham, smack it in its head. Kind of flails off to the side there. -8. Yeah, it's looking pretty hurt. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so you used your attack action, so you can technically offhand bam, or you can offhand bam bam.
Oh, that the
A
second
flurry
one
of
costs a
blows.
key point, right? Yeah. Uh,
Second one costs a key point, the other one's free.
I will flurry. Okay, so
Flurry of
uh,
blows.
I
Offhand.
so like a one-handed quarterstaff,
No, it's going to be martial art.
monk unarmed.
Yeah, monk unarmed.
Okay, I punch.
Yeah, that will definitely hit. Is you know, you smack it with the quarterstaff, and its head goes flying, you know, towards the side. Go ahead and roll your next attack, as I'm kind of thinking
And
through
a
here.
kick.
12. Let me check. Just enough.
Yeah.
It looks really hurt after this. So as you come in, you smack it with a quarter. You know, you just smack it across the face with the quarterstaff, and as you let the quarterstaff go, you just like run up and actually we're gonna do the kick first. So you like run up
Oh, I'm so
and
sorry.
pivot on heel. It's okay. Pivot on heel, and you just you know, use your heel and you kick into the head of the snake. It causes the snake's head to continue and slam into the ground and pop right back up as you as you finish turning around, and just you clock it like right in the face, and you just watch part of its jaw and its nose just kind of crumple into itself. Like I said, it is looking very hurt at this point.
Yeah.
Umi.
I hit it with my greatsword.
Yes.
Okay,
Righteous.
we're not doing a
Oof,
deed,
that was close.
so you're just doing it normal.
Yeah, we
So
know it hits.
yeah, that hits. Yeah. How do you want to do this?
I want to cut its head off.
Okay, as you watch and you just watch it kind of pull its head back from an A, just like smashing its like front of its jaw and stuff like that. It just brings its head back, looking like it's getting ready to strike. You just see a perfect opportunity and just bring your greatsword down, just before the snake even knows what's going on, all of a sudden it's like, why isn't the rest of my body moving and why is my head falling? As you just cut its head, the body kind of flops around for a while on the ground before going still.
Great, we did it.
What you what are you guys doing? I would say
I
probably at
would
this
like to
point the
cast Spare the
father.
Dying on the person with 0 hit points.
Okay, casting sparing the dying instead of like curing him.
Yeah, I'm not wasting a spell slot on an NPC, Hesper.
Well, you might not have any other combat, so well, that's up to you.
Okay, look, I she, they're stable. Just make sure they get plenty of rest. Can you take care of them from here?
Um, yeah. So as you watch this and you come up and you lay your hands on her, cast spare the dying. It seems like the bleeding has stopped. She seems to be stable. Breathing, unconscious, and this person who comes up to him is like he goes, are you okay? Oh, I hope my daughter, I hope you're okay. As you tell him,
She'll be fine. Just peck her up, get her to a bed. Have some
well,
hot soup waiting for her when she wakes up.
and like I said, this Yua, now that you're here and looking at her and stuff like that, has to be about like 15 years old. Young kind of teenager. As like I said, this man kind of, obviously the father picks her up and it's like, I'm glad she's still alive. You have my thanks. Um, I need to get her back home though. Is he will go ahead and take her. Um, so we will go ahead and switch you guys back over to here.
I would like to pick up the snake and the head
Okay.
Oh, that's a new
and take it
necklace.
take it to the half elf who's like orchestrating everything.
Okay. Okay, so as you guys go back and he's going through stuff and he kind of catches you guys out of the corner of his eyes and he's like, "Ah, yes, I see you're back. I guess it wasn't too much. Oh my god, what the hell is that?
Well, we killed the snake. Where would you like me to put it?
That thing's a snake."
I mean, it was a snake.
I haven't seen him that big before. They don't usually get, kind of holds out maybe 2 feet in length.
How big is this snake?
Oh, probably more along the lines of 10 feet.
Oh, okay.
It's a big
He's not that
It
boy.
big.
is it is a big snake. If you want to roll a nature check on it, you can.
Right. I will do that.
Nature? Yeah, it wasn't too hard to tell. Um, you can tell that this is a young snake. So you'd hate to see how big the parent gets.
Well, where there's babies, there's usually adults.
Well, this thing isn't necessarily a baby, more along the lines maybe of an adolescent getting out on his own, so who knows how close, if even close, a nest may be, or the parents.
All
I
right,
mean,
well,
they
if
are
more
snakes
shows
after
up,
all.
we'll be ready.
Yeah, with your check, I mean, yeah, with your check, you kind of know that snakes are kind of like, yeah, you're old enough, you're on your own now. Get out of my territory, I'll eat you.
Well, I guess
Anywho,
I'm gonna drop the snake and go back to moving boxes.
okay, you guys continue to move crates and stuff for the day. Um, yeah. Uh, Not quite sure what's going to happen to the snake. But anyways, all right. So you guys get done basically with the day. You
What's our
guys,
pay?
let me. Do, 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 do,
I'll work for
do.
free, Hesper.
I know, I know. I'm just trying to remember where I wrote this down. I wrote it down somewhere. Um, Give me a second here. I need to check something real quick. Nope. Okay. So, he hands each one of you 10 silver. Yeah, tells you, thanks for the help today. We'll be needing help probably for the next 2 days. If you're interested in more pay, you can. Other than that, you guys are free to go to for the day. Like I said, at this point, it's getting like late. We're looking 8
Yeah.
hours. You guys got here about 1. It's about 9 o'clock.
I was hoping for a little bit of extra scratch for being good Samaritan snake slayers.
I asked, and they said that's what the guards are paid for. So I was unfortunately unable to get you any extra pay. Just be thankful that they didn't tell me to dock your pay.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Alrighty. So as you guys continue, probably head back. Fortunately, they did provide you guys with something to eat, and it wasn't anything spectacular. It's very, very minimal. Just
Snake
enough, kind
stew.
of. No, it wasn't snake stew. A little late for them to. You killed the snake about 5 o'clock, so it was more like the lines of just kind of like a porridge gruel kind of thing. Grits, maybe something like that. It's very basic kind of. Here's a meal. When you get done, you can go have something else, but this is all we're giving you to make sure that you don't collapse. Anyways, what would you guys like to do?
Do we have a room yet, or did we just like get here today?
You guys just got here today. There is no
Okay.
room. As you guys are leaving, you notice a couple of the workers and stuff like that seem to be spending some leisurely time doing something without getting closer. You guys aren't quite sure what they're doing. If you
I
guys are
get
interested in that.
closer, Hesper.
Okay. Some of them seem to be playing different kind of games. Seem to be gambling. Um, some of them seem to be playing cards. Others seem to be playing some kind of dice game. Not quite sure how interested your character is in gambling right now.
Uh, I'm looking at I'm looking at my pockets right now, and I'm just like, I'd have to do a lot of separate games of gambling to like get anywhere near where I want to be. Like I'm starting from such a low amount.
Mm-hmm.
It would take a lot of winning for me to get where I need to be.
Yeah, and you gotta admit here with what you guys got paid, they might have gotten paid the same, maybe less, maybe more, not sure. And gambling does mean that you're not necessarily going to win every time. So,
Yeah.
but looks like something that they enjoy that the pass the time. Um, so I take it no, not interested in gambling.
Yeah, no, not worth it.
Doesn't look like Lonnie is either. Okay, so
No.
I guess you both are going to go ahead and head back to the rainy drum, set up a room, get something to eat, and call it a night.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, sure. How much is the room?
Okay. You're told basically a room, which would probably fit both of you comfortably. Would be about 2 silver per night.
Oh, that's a lot better than the
Um,
rum.
well, yeah, I mean it's a room, It's nothing spectacular, but anyways, the like I said, the food equates to being a couple of copper for a meal. Obviously more if you want to drink, but like rum or something like that. But uh, so I guess you both sharing a room.
Yeah,
Yeah, fine with me.
we'll share a room. And hey, you serve tea here?
Uh, yeah, we can.
Yeah, how about you bring some tea up to my room?
Okay, can probably get something situated. Normally don't do room service, but
Oh, then
I
I'll
mean,
just wait for it and carry it up myself. Is that okay?
as long as you bring back the cup, sure.
Yeah, I'll bring it down in the morning. Is that all right?
Uh, yeah, that'll be fine. You know, like I said, it's getting late. It's more like along the lines of tending to people who are just drinking, not so much eating at this point, and so on and so forth. Um, as I don't either both of you can take off a silver, or each one of you can take off, or one of you can take off two silver. Just depends on how you want to do it.
We will
As
have
you know,
these.
Yeah.
it'll probably be about a copper piece for the tea.
I don't have
Okay.
any copper pieces. I only have silver and
Well,
gold.
it's my tea.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, no meals.
Yeah, we'll take food too.
Okay, that like I said, that'll be 2 copper. So all you do is break a silver into 10 copper
Okay.
pieces, Lonnie. So just give yourself 8 copper and take out a silver.
Okay.
So yeah, as you guys, like I said, it's a modest meal. There's some meat and bread and like some like plantains and stuff like that on the plate. Um, and you have your tea. It's not their specialty. It's kind of pungent and kind of bitter.
Okay. I sip it in like almost like a meditative way, I guess.
Okay,
Close my
just
eyes
just
and just yeah.
imagine that it's bitter tea. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
very much doable. As you guys go through and take your time, sleep the night away. Wake up the next morning. You guys what wanting to continue working? You guys just gonna peruse town? What's going on?
I'm fine with working more if you are. Pocket
Uh
change is never bad.
so that kind of work didn't come very easily to me, but I guess it lets us stay in this inn indefinitely. So
Okay. So you guys just gonna work for the next 2 days? Like 8 hours next 2 days? I'm just trying to expedite this quicker so
yeah,
we
sure.
can get on to the
Yeah.
next group.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
do it then.
fair enough. So as you guys go through and you work the next 2 days, any gambling?
No.
Nah.
Take it as probably no. Okay. Add another 20 silver to each of you. Um, take off 4 silver, and then if for each meal that you have, 2 copper. And if you guys are having anything outside of water, add a copper, unless it's an alcohol, in which case it's a silver.
Oh, I I think I got it. Okay. Close enough.
Yeah.
I'm erring in the
I'll
odds
go.
of giving a tip.
Yeah. If you. Yeah. Yeah. I'll go through and just kind of eyeball it and see if it's okay later. But as you guys kind of do this, all right. So as you guys wake up the final day of this session 0, you guys head downstairs, pre-planning. Head downstairs, kind of resting for a bit and such, planning your day as it is now. the morning of the festival that will be happening later. And that's where we'll call you guys for now. So if I can
It
go
was
ahead and
it was a pleasure,
yeah.
Lonnie Hesper. I'm gonna have Chinese food.
Yep, if you go ahead and black your things and mute and stuff, and I will text you guys when in line when we're done. All right, so now I need Cados and Zell. Oh, I saw an unmute. Oh, there's Zell. Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
There we go. Hey. Yeah, think that took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. Oops. Hopefully I can expedite you guys a little bit quicker.
It happens.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and leave it there for right now. That should work.
Okay,
All
sorry
right.
about that. I was expecting like a 10-minute warning, but
Yeah, it was kind of. I'm sorry. I was wrapping them up, and I should have been texting it earlier. Maybe I'll do
yeah,
it for the
it's
next
all
one.
right. I was just warming up food, so I wanted to make the transition a little more seamless. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you can yell. Hopefully, Lonnie will bring you your food.
I brought the food. I just at this point I can't eat
Oh.
it though. That's the problem. But that's okay. I'll just
No, you
wait.
can. I don't mind if you eat while we're doing stuff. You just just as long as it's in between talking, it should be fine.
Yeah,
When
I
you need to
gotta let
talk
it
and stuff.
cool off anyway. So,
Okay.
but okay.
All right. So we'll go ahead and start with you two. So you two, as you guys have traveled together for quite a while, I think at this point it's been 2-3 weeks that you guys have been traveling together. Uh,
Mm.
Harrowhawk and Rue. You guys eventually come to the town of Riostile.
Mhm.
It looks like as you come to town, the picture I have on Roll20 is kind of what you kind of see. It's kind of, this kind of sugarcane plantation and stuff like that. There's bits of white smoke wisping in the background, off in the distance and stuff. About at three different locations. Um, you guys, like I said, if as you come in, seems to be pre-setting up something in town square. Um, and also you notice a tavern called the Rainy Drum Tavern. It looks like a pretty modest older establishment and stuff like that. Uh, what would you two like to do?
Um, m- I look at Rue and give him a once over, and then ask Rue, when was the last time you ate?
Rue is just completely awestruck by the town,
Yeah,
and that he barely
you're
hears your
trying to.
question.
Yeah, Rue's just like, oh, just looking around and
This
stuff,
place
and
is big.
Mhm. I yeah.
um, I would say you've probably been a lot bigger, Haru.
It's Harrow. It's okay.
Arrow, sorry.
That's all right. Um, I kind of allow him to take a moment to look at everything and then start to nudge, like kind of lead his shoulder a little bit towards the tavern to see if we get something to eat. Um, but do it in a gentle way so that he can still see as we're walking, but guiding him
Okay,
over to the tavern.
okay. So
Oh, we're going
as you
somewhere?
make your
Okay.
Yeah.
as you guys make your way into the Rainy Drum, oh, I'm gonna say that you guys probably got here pretty early. Some people are getting done, others are leaving. Like I said, and it's probably maybe about 9 o'clock in the morning and stuff like that. As you watch people who are getting breakfast and and getting done and getting ready for a day's work and such. You notice a red-haired female half elf seems to be working behind the bar. behind her are these big old giant barrels. Each seem to be branded with a name and some kind of insignia or logo. There's uh bronze dust, which has the name bronze dust and looks like some kind of miner working. Uh, snake mark, which has the letter snake mark with a snake kind of curling around the lettering, and the last one is soft Dane, as it has kind of this cautious looking gentleman leaning up against the E at the end of Dane.
Mm.
Um, she seems to be, up there working, serving. Some people just having, water or other more regularly suitable drinks. Others having something a little bit harder. Um,
At 9 in
she
the
seems
morning?
it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Okay, anyway, sorry, continue.
Um, she seems to be hollering back into the back and occasionally with orders, and you hear like a male voice occasionally yelling back, or and, making sure the order's right, or that an order's up and such. And there seems to be like a dirty brown-haired halfling female barmaid running to and fro and such. It seems to be covering the floor, taking care of the floor space and such. Um, very quick for her size, and just darting to and fro from tables and such like that, and delivering orders and stuff like that, and taking orders and stuff for those who might not be sitting at the bar and ordering.
Is there any
Um,
space at the bar to sit down?
a couple. Also, I would say another thing that you notice is just a big old kind of like message board, with different letters penned to it, and um, with tacks and nails and stuff like that. Just this big old wooden board and sprawled out with a bunch of different papers all over it.
Okay. Um, I'll make note of the board, but first I'll attempt to lead Rue to the bar so we can get something
Okay.
to eat, since I do feel
Easy
bad that
enough.
he's been eating rations. Probably could use a
Okay.
better breakfast.
Okay. Easy enough as this, like I said, this half elven lady gets done taking care of a couple of orders, and she comes sliding down the bar to you two, and she goes, "Ah, yes. What can I get for you two?"
Could you give us an idea of what you have for breakfast?
We don't have much of an offer. We do have breakfast. We eggs, some bacon, a biscuit, and a bit of our local fruit.
Turn to Rue and ask him what he would like for breakfast.
Oh, that just all
Uh,
comes as the meal. It's not little separate
Oh,
things and such. Yeah, it's just that's all one meal. We try to keep it pretty simple here. We do serve meals, but we're a little bit more known for. She kind of motions back towards just these big giant barrels.
mm. Well, I look at Rue. Do you want breakfast?
I mean, I guess.
Okay, and
Okay.
that'll be 2 copper per plate.
I just pay for one, so it's gonna be for Rue. So I'll give her two
Okay,
coppers, just one, and then we'll sit at the bar.
okay. Anything to drink with that?
Uh, I look over at Rue. Do you have any juice aside from alcohol?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure we can get something arranged. If you don't want, um, you know, one of the families.
What do you have that
Oh,
isn't alcohol?
I'm pretty sure we can scrounge up, obviously water. I mean, could probably scrounge up some juice if that's what you want. Sure, we might have some goat's milk somewhere, maybe.
Uh, look over at Rue. What do you want to drink?
We're just gonna kind of shrug at the idea.
Get him some juice for his
Okay.
breakfast.
Okay. It takes a while as she kind of hollers back, and eventually, you hear from the back, this male voice, "Order up!" And she kind of, through taking care of other patrons and stuff, goes over, grabs the plate, slides it in front of you, along with the glass of juice. It's an orange juice. It's very pulpy. Um, it's probably just like just grab some oranges and squeeze it into a glass. That'll do.
Okay.
Um, you know, uh, and a couple of eggs. Like I said, a couple pieces of bacon. Biscuit, and some plantains.
As Rue, I guess, gets the plate, he's just gonna look at Harrow and he goes, "Are you sure you're not eating anything?"
I'm fine. Go ahead and eat as much as you want. I'll be right back though, and then I'll walk. I'm gonna head over to the boards while he eats his breakfast.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. It's pretty decent. I mean, you might have had better at the school, but it does its job. It tastes all right. Um.
Hmm.
So like I said, the juice is very pulpy. I don't know if you enjoy pulp or not, but looks like that's
Rue
basically your
cannot
option
tell
with
the
this
difference.
juice. Can't tell the difference. Okay. Um. Looking at the board and such, you got your very basic things like farmers trying to buy tools, sell livestock, sell produce. A couple of like other folks trying to sell things like used dresser for sale and stuff like that. Um, a couple of other things. Each one of the barrels that you saw behind the bronze dust, the snake mark, believe that's yeah, Snake Mark and the Soft Dane. Each seem to have a flyer for looking for work. Outside of that, there seems to be some farmers looking for pest control, and probably the one flyer that probably catches your attention the most is one that says basically um is basically reads by order of the lawmaster uh Fern Spring Cloak, looking for looking for help with a recent problem. Uh, Applicants who are interested, please come to the Lawmaster's Hold.
Okay. All right. I'll take note of that specific request and go sit back down with Rue and check on Rue to see how he's doing with his breakfast.
Okay. Okay.
Find a bounty you like?
I have a lead, so we'll go out to the Lawmaster's office once you're done with breakfast.
We can go
I
now.
relay what the message is. And I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rue.
We can go now.
You sure?
Yeah.
This
I
plate's
look over
probably
to
about
see.
half clean at this time.
Oh, all right, good. Then let's go.
As you get up and leave, the like I said, the who looks like it's the proprietor basically probably owns this, the half elven lady goes thank you, and don't forget, if you ever need a place to get a drink or rest your head, the rainy drum is always here for you.
Okay.
As I leave, I'm just gonna go. He's like, "I'm sure it was very good."
She looks very confused by that statement, but nods as you know nods and like, well, glad you enjoyed it. She's just very thrown off by that statement.
Mm.
She's just like, it's not what I'm used to, but okay. Anyways, so as you go through and um, easy enough to ask for directions to the Lawmaster's Hold if that's what you guys want to do.
Yeah.
As you guys come, looks like probably the most defendable building here. It's not anything spectacular. There's drawn on it and such. It's a big, long building. Um, as you enter, um, basically, as you enter, there seems to be this older human gentleman, kind of kind of standing in this main room, which kind of looks like that there's a bit of a like kind of a clerk's office, which currently has a male gnome, big long white beard, kind of a friar tuck on top of his head, balding, um, and seems to be wearing um yeah, you guys haven't been to too many towns, so you guys don't really know what they're called, but seems to be wearing what you guys have kind of noticed is kind of like guard vestments. It's kind of like bluish color tunic. Um, Not really wearing like generally heavier armored like for guards, just kind of leathers. You're assuming it's for protection in case he needs it, but you assume this guy doesn't really go out too much and deals with guard stuff. He kind of deals more with probably the bookkeeping stuff and such here. Um, there seems to be kind of this courtroom kind of setup, and looks like if you make a left, a couple guards going in and out and such like that. Looks like that there's probably a barracks that way, and then as you go past kind of this courtroom setup and it leads down, you're probably assuming, especially Harrow, probably assuming probably more along the lines of maybe that's where the dungeon jails kind of are in this place. Um, as like I said, this older human gentleman seems to be having a heated conversation with this little gnome guard clerk person, and as you guys are walking in, he's like, the human male's just like, you guys are just not taking this seriously enough. Those monsters just killed everyone. And this is as you guys are walking in, and the clerk's like, taking care of this, and he's just like, he kind of motions for him to be quiet now that he notices you guys walk in the building after hearing this. Like, just this beast murdered everybody and not taking this seriously enough. He kind of, we'll get back to this in a moment. Hi, welcome to the Lawmaster's keep. How can I help you? Kind of, you can kind of tell very easily he's agitated by something.
Um, I look at Rue for a moment and then I look back at them. I heard there was a request on the board for a recent problem, and then I heard that there's some monsters. Maybe we could help.
The old gentleman at this point turns around and is like, seriously, you're hiring outside help instead of sending the guard? And he's like, quiet. Yes, we are looking for current help. Seems like we have a little bit of a problem currently. Seems to be just this gentleman here is part of a group of mining prospects that were going up and looking to set up a new mine in the Calhoun Mountains to the north of us. Uh Anywho, him and his group seem to have been attacked by some wolves. And he's like, they weren't wolves. They were giant wolf-like monstrosities. And he's just like, shut up. Anywho, we are looking for people to investigate and take care of this issue. As we feel that it's easy enough that it doesn't require the full service of our guards to exterminate some wolves. And
Okay.
you can tell that this human just wants to butt in, but he's just getting tired of getting cut off. He looks very agitated at this point. Both of them are kind of like, you can sense easily the tension between these two. Well,
Mm.
maybe you, but Rue probably not so much. He's probably just dumbfounded by this courtroom.
Mm.
I think after hearing this story, Rue would probably just interject. He's like, so you just need someone to walk up and hit it?
And come back with proof that they're dead, yes.
I point at Harrow and I'm like, she's really good at that.
A nod.
Well, he kind of looks up and down and it's like, I would imagine so. I mean, you don't usually come in pretty well armed like that and not be decent at hitting things. Anywho, if you two are interested, I can give you more details on the job. Um, Otherwise, if you're not interested, then I will not be disclosing any more information.
I
I
cross
just
my
look at Harrow.
arms. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying I look at you.
Hmm. I think it's safe to say we're interested.
All
Tell us a
right.
little more information.
So, he goes through, he gives you basically a contract, the sign, it's like have to keep, our end kind of tight and, nice and tidy of, who we're supposed to pay, who we contract, all that stuff, obviously. But, easy enough. It just basically says, blank, it just kind of has blanks for names. Have agreed to go and do contracted work is, kind of filled in by this gnome, kind of like a case number and stuff like that. And both parties agree, signature from you guys, and then his signature, which, reads, where is he? There he is. Harmon Cobblebelt, uh, clerk of the Lawmaster's Hold.
Okay. I go ahead and
So
sign it.
I'm assuming you
Pass
both
the
go
pen.
ahead and sign it and
Pass the
yeah,
pen to
put
Rue.
in.
I sign as well.
Just easy enough. And he's like, okay. As I said, up towards the Call Mountains. And as he kind of hands you like a sheet of paper, it kind of gives you like, kind of directions on how to get there and such. Um, he's like, you should notice an encampment. Obviously they didn't have time to take it down, getting attacked and such by wolves, then humans still there, and he's very pissed off that he's just calling them wolves, but tired of getting cut off. And
Mm.
just bring back proof of them being taken care of, and so we can inform uh, the house who owns that area that's starting the mine to that they can go back and do another, start prospecting the area again to create a mine. Looking at the directions and stuff, you're going to assume it's probably going to take you probably about a day and a half travel to get there on foot.
Do we have enough rations?
I don't remember how much rations you guys have.
Let me see. We have 3 rations. Okay. Um, Apart from the tavern, is there any other place in the town as we step out that could potentially sell more rations?
Yeah, you can easily find a general store.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that before we head out. Is there anything else you'd like to
Okay.
do, Rue?
Okay.
Nope.
We'll let you know that each day of rations is 5 silver pieces.
5 silver per ration? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's just what the standard price is.
Okay.
Unless you guys want to, you know, uh, you know, uh,
We'll go ahead and hunt. We'll just hunt and then make those rations our own rations. Um,
okay,
where?
fair enough.
Okay, Rue, did you want to explore a little more in the town before we head out?
Yes, but I guess I
Okay.
can do that when we come back.
Okay. So you're gonna explore when you come back?
Yes.
Okay. So, as you guys go out and such, so you're gonna hunt for food.
Yeah,
Go
we'll
ahead
hunt
and
for food when we need to. We still have 3
yeah,
rations.
yeah. Go ahead and roll me a survival check.
Sure. Let me. Oh, okay. So
7. Okay.
wow, I'm horrible.
Yeah, oddly, Zell seems to be a little bit better about locating uh where more, you know, locating the direction that you guys need to go in and kind of locating bodies of fresh water to get water and also um you know kind of where fauna and flora would more likely thrive in this area.
Hmm.
I guess all that book learning must have taught you something. Uh, as you guys eventually make it to, like I said, it's about a day and a half travel to get there. Eventually, you guys make it. No, I would say if you guys left right away, so that would have been a day to there. Yeah, it'd probably be mid afternoon, maybe about 4 o'clock by the time that you got there in the afternoon.
Okay.
4 or 5 o'clock, give or take. Sun's starting to get lower. As you start coming to what looks like the onset of a campsite, you notice that there's 3 tents. I believe it's three. I need to make sure because I'm a dum dum and forgot. Yeah, you notice that there's like 3 tents. They're like badly shredded. Um, the tools strewn about, like pickaxes and shovels and stuff. Some of them seem to have bite marks on them and such, just from cursory glances and stuff. It's not very hard to tell. There was basically a fire pit in the middle that has been scattered, and yeah, um, as you guys start drawing closer to these tents. What would you guys like to do?
I want to look to see if there's any blood trails, any bodies in the area immediately.
Roll me a perception check.
Okay. Mm.
While that's going on, Rue's probably just gonna try and see if he can tell how things were damaged.
Okay. Roll me an investigation check. And I think because of your
Oh,
item, Rue, you can roll it at advantage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I gave out some magic items and stuff. Wow, Cados. Yeah, we'll take
I
that
don't know what's up
12.
with my rolls.
Yeah. Change the dice color. All right. I mean, some things are easy to tell. You really can't seem to find a blood trail. And oddly enough, no bodies. There is blood splattered about, but doesn't seem to be any indications of anything remaining. Um, Ruth, through your investigation check, things look like that they were damaged by a big, giant clawed and toothed creature. Um, Probably bestial in nature, but without further checking and confining in some stuff, not really easily discernible. Uh as you both seem to be trying to find out what's going on, mostly around this southern tent. Um let's see here. Uh Yeah, you know what? Since you guys are doing stuff, go ahead and roll me another perception check.
What is going on with my die?
Maybe you want to change the die color.
I did. I already changed it.
Okay. I Harrow, Harrow,
Harrow.
Harrow. You're kind of more distracted on why can't I find any bodies? Though Rue, you kind of hear, kind of off in the distance, some wrestling. Unfortunately for me, for what I did, the creatures both rolled natural ones on their stealth check. So eventually, even Harrow hears like the cracking and snapping of twigs and kind of low growling noises, kind of coming from behind you guys towards the north.
Hmm.
As you both turn around, let me go ahead and switch over to that. You both notice these these wolves, though they're a little odd where their eyes would be and such, seem to be like more along the lines of kind of like glowing green smoke and mist rather than like normal formed eyes. And there seem to be cuts and scars into these creatures that exudes that same kind of green colored mist.
Okay.
Uh, I will need you guys as soon as I clear the list to roll me initiative.
Wow.
God, Zell with the hot hands tonight. Jeez. Give me a second here. Okay, roll 20. Why are you taking forever? Let me see if I just reload their character sheets if they'll. I hope I don't have to jump out of roll 20 and back in. Come on. Okay, I'm going to try restarting roll 20 real quick on my end. It seems to be being really laggy for some odd reason.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not loading my monster sheets at all.
That's weird. Are you on Chrome or what?
Firefox.
Hmm.
Okay, come on. There we go. Now they're starting to load. Okay. Well, it's not looking good for me. Okay, come on. There we go. Okay. All right. Looks like the wolves are going first because I think they have higher dexterity. What's your dexterity?
Mine is 14.
14. Yeah, the wolves have higher. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so the wolves are gonna go first. All right. They have 40 feet movement. You see here. Question. Yeah, I think they're gonna do that. So this one's gonna move here, and that one's gonna move here. And they're gonna both go ahead and attack you, Rue. As you watch, Rue's skin seems to harden and such, and become more rock-like as his body seems to sense this danger.
Hmm.
Uh, all right. So first attack towards Rue. This will be the south one. The other one, because you have the sentinel feat, you can opportunity attack the north one.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Okay, first attack will be a natural 20,
Oh,
and that one is a 7. I know the 7 misses. All right, so the natural 20 is the first wolf comes charging around and just bites into you. You just aren't quite expecting it as it latches into your arm. You're going to take 9 points of piercing damage and 5 points of necrotic damage. So that's going to be a total of 14 points of damage as this wolf just kind of bites into you. Just. Like I said, the second one, though, goes to try to bite you, and your skin just hardens up and just prevents the fangs from sinking into you. Oh, that's weird. Did you.
I went ahead and did the opportunity attack on the
Okay.
one next to me.
Yeah, I see that. And we're not counting the +2 because it's not a
Oh,
whatchamacallit,
I don't
a
know what
deed.
in Mighty DD. Let me take that off. Where is that little check mark? Oh, there it is.
It
Okay,
should be
thank you.
down. Yeah, the
I
mighty
removed it.
deed, and you also don't have your right either, so I won't count
Oh
that.
yeah,
But
thank you for
14 points
that.
of slashing damage. As that one kind of like bites into Rue's hardened skin, just doesn't seem to penetrate. You bring your sword down and just lop its head off, and its head just does a couple of flips in the air and just lands in the dirt. So that guy is dead already.
Yeah.
Didn't take long. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Harrow.
I will slash at the one that is biting Rue
Okay,
and swing my sword.
so you just stepping 5 foot over, or are you gonna do 10 like that?
I'll do 10 and then I'll slash at that point. I'll
Okay.
step over the other body and slash.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, 17 hits without a problem. As this wolf gets crouching down, get ready for another chance the bite at your compatriot here. Uh, you hack this poor sodding wolf to death.
yep.
That's the 2 normal wolves dead. That just leaves us with the alpha.
Yep.
Okay.
Ends my turn.
Yep. Rue?
Okay, so with both of those being dead, I will just put my hand on Harrow's weapon, and I will cast Magic Weapon on it.
Okay, so that's gonna give her a +1? Yep, +1.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so we just need to remember to add a +1.
Okay.
Okay, you moving, staying there? What's going on?
I will move. There we go.
Okay, let me see here. Yeah, it still was in range, but you did kill 2 of its so I think it's seeing you as a threat, and I
Oh,
think it's gonna come
boo.
after you instead of Rue because it figures if it gets rid of the threat, then it gets the easy meal afterwards.
Hmm.
So it will take a bite at you, Harrow.
Mm-hmm.
See what we get. 22 to hit. I'm pretty sure that hits.
It does.
Okay, you're gonna take 9 points of piercing damage and 4 points of necrotic damage as this wolf just kind of like latches in and just bites down on your shoulder. That's gonna be a
9
total
and
of
4?
13. Yep.
13? Okay.
Yeah. And I don't think you have resistance to necrotic damage.
I have resilient hide. I don't know what that is. Resilient hide.
It's when
It's
you transform.
yeah.
It's a plus
Okay, it's
1.
when it yeah. Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have a resistance to necrotic.
Okay. Wolves are dead, so Harrow, it's your turn.
I'm gonna slash at it, the one that's biting me.
Okay. Okay. Me-
But let me I want to
Mhm.
cast the um Rite of the Flame.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your right damage, and you take that much damage.
The right damage? Yes. Okay. Oh, hold on. I'm looking for I don't see it on here. I see the blood curse. Is that the one?
No, it should say, or it should say Hemocraft, not right.
Oh, Hemocraft.
Yeah, it should say Hemocraft die.
Hemocraft die. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So you take 2 points of damage as you run it across yourself and draw the blood. Draw the blood, as the blood all of a sudden on the end of this sword just turns into flames.
Does it can it combine with the magic attack that
Yep.
Rue put on?
Yeah.
Because it's +1
Then
plus this.
yeah. So we'll add a +1 to your hit, +1 to your damage, and add on your right of the flame when you hit your damage
Okay.
section.
Cool beans. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and slash at it.
Okay.
um,
Yeah.
mhm.
22 to hit. 15. Yeah. How do you want to do this?
I sliced the mofo in half from the torso.
Okay, this wolf gets ready to lunge at you with another attack. You get your sword, and you just cut it straight in half. The flames of from your blade, instead of covering you with blood and gore, kind of just cauterizes the wound shut.
Okay.
And is the wolf just kind of, as it comes towards you, just comes in like 2 different halves and just kind of on each side of you.
Mm.
Um, that is dead. Okay. So, uh, takes care of the fight. Um, all right. What would you guys like to do here at this camp? You could kind of tell that those wolves kind of came up here from the north part of the camp.
Okay.
Well, that went well. Better than last time, at least.
Very much so. You're getting a lot better. Let
This
me
mean
see
we're
your
done?
arm. Sorry, go ahead.
This mean we're done?
For now, tend to your wounds. I'm gonna have a look at the bodies. These wolves don't look normal.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So you're checking the wolves.
Yeah, and then if if Rue likes, he can also help me check them too.
I will.
Okay. Let's see here. Um, I believe I need to check something real quick. Sorry. Um, believe in. Uh, yeah. Roll me, and you get to roll at advantage because of what you are, Cados. Roll me a religion check at advantage. 16. Looking over these creatures, for the most part, nor if you ignore certain parts, they appear to be normal beasts, but when you look at the oddities, the earlier that are now extinguished, kind of misty glowing green eyes, and the mist that was coming out of them, and that the blood, instead of being a normal red color, is kind of a sickly green.
Okay.
Looking at these creatures, something something foul. You kind of feel maybe even fiendish might have done something to change these creatures. You could see why people were mistaking them for much more than just regular wolves.
Okay.
And maybe at one point they were regular wolves.
I go ahead and relay this information to Rue, and what do you make of it?
Hold on, I think I have a book about this.
Hmm.
I'm gonna pull out my book about devils and why not to talk to them, and
Okay.
give a very basic lesson that these wolves clearly didn't listen to the rules of this book.
You convey a
Hmm.
very thing that people should not deal with fiendish things, and these wolves did not listen to a book. That is very evident.
Hmm. Does your book say anything about the color of certain fiends represent a specific fiend?
This book is more along the lines of how to not be tempted by fiends in their deals, rather than a full biographical explanation of what they do and how they bring about corruption. Just
Mm.
how to avoid being corrupted.
Or, um, I suggest we should do a short rest and then head north, because I think the wolves head in that direction.
Okay. Um.
Are you okay
Yeah,
with
you
that,
guys.
Rue?
I mean, we can just go now. I mean, do you need a rest?
Just a moment. I got bit pretty hard.
Okay. So, yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and roll hit die, you can take the next hour just kind of resting here, and if you want to, you can kind of pre-prep your proof of killing these creatures
Yeah,
for the guards.
I'm gonna cut the big alphas. I'm gonna grab some fangs from the alpha and then wrap up one of the smaller wolves' head.
Okay.
Maybe even cut the paw of the alpha just to have, like, to show the difference.
Okay. Fair enough.
And then of course I
Uh,
just wanted to.
e- easy enough to do.
Okay.
And you're not performing taxidermy on these or anything. You're just like, okay, here's a head, here's a paw. and just rip out some fangs. That the fangs are easily accessible since you split it right in half and
Yeah.
just easy enough just to reach in there and just grab what you want. Um, yeah, okay. So as you guys go through and get your short rest, if you guys are done with that, you guys proceed to head north, following kind of where these wolves came from. Which kind of looking at this, you can definitely see now their foot traffic gets really heavy, leading in
Mhm.
and out of this cave, which you're assuming um the prospectors must have not done too good of a job making sure that there wasn't anything here because it looks like they started setting up getting tools and stuff out here to start doing stuff outside this cave.
Mhm.
Um as you head within this cave, it's not a very deep cave. As you head down a little ways, you kind of come to the only chamber here. Um Again, you still don't really see any human bodies or anything like that. Um And from what you've seen and what you've rolled earlier, you're assuming that these wolves must have eaten the whole bodies already.
Okay.
But in this cave, not too much comes out of oddity except for one thing. There seems to be this deer-like creature, except instead of its like normal brown fur and stuff like that, it's it's green. And the flesh looks like it's rotted since it's been here for a while. Doesn't look like these wolves have completely eaten this thing. The blood, very much the same green color as these wolves.
It's a carcass, right? It's not
Yeah, it's not
perched sitting
alive.
there. Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, it's dead on the ground. It's been chewed on.
Okay.
It's a pretty grisly sight, but it's not coming to life. If that's what you're wondering,
Yeah, I was just
it's not a zombie. Roll initiative, zombie
right.
deer.
That's what I was
Next
thinking.
campaign. All right, next session. Zombie deers. I'm writing that down. Anyways, yeah. Probably easy enough with the information that you got and stuff like that. Whatever happened to this creature got passed on to the wolves, and if they probably would have continued eating this creature and living, they might have become more dangerous and more befouled, like this
Uh,
deer-like creature seems to have become.
okay, okay. I think, Rue, we need to burn this body and then go back and burn the bodies of the wolves this very night before our
Okay.
scavengers come back.
Okay. Yeah, very easy to do if you want to burn it in here, or if you want to drag it out and kind of reset up the fire pit and just kind of animal pyre, whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
Easy enough to set up.
yeah,
Um,
I'll do that.
Going around scavenging wood, easy enough. There's trees here. There's like an axe or two around here that you can use to chop some wood if you need to. Easy enough to set up a pyre and just burn these creatures. You guys kind of sit and wait throughout the night, just kind of burning these creatures. Um, you know, making sure that everything's done, the embers have smoldered out by the next morning, and you guys decide to pack up and start heading back into town. That would be Yeah. So basically, you guys have 3 rations each. I would say if you guys ate your rations, it'd be gone by the time that you guys got back.
Could we hunt at all? Because I want to eat. I got bit pretty hard. I want to see if I can eat any fauna, like
Yeah, no,
raw.
that's perfectly fine. Yeah, no, that's fine. Go ahead and roll me a survival check.
Okay. Um,
10. Yeah, you find like a couple rabbits, easy enough.
okay, I'm gonna gather. I'll give one to Rue in case he wants to eat. Have you skinned an animal before?
Nope.
Okay, I will teach you then how to skin an animal. It's very important to learn, so you can feed yourself when you are kind of, by yourself. Or in this case, we may have to feed ourselves a lot more often in the future. The rations here are fairly expensive. And so I go ahead and try to teach Rue how to skin the rabbit and then set it up in a
Okay.
little fire pit for him before
Okay.
I eat mine and drain it, the blood.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a straight intelligence check,
Okay.
Rue. No, Rue, since he's
Oh,
the one
sorry.
learning.
Okay.
You've done this plenty of times. You kind of get the gist. You feel like you might be able to do it. Um, as she starts and you kind of continue on, um, you probably leave a little bit more meat than you probably should on the hide. But other than that, it's an okay job for first time. Um, and it cooks easy enough. Just setting up a very basic kind of like spit roast. Putting the rabbit on there and just kind of with a stick and just turning the stick. Easy enough to set up a roasted rabbit.
Um,
You, I assume, eat yours raw, so
yeah, but I
have
will
fun.
try to be discreet while he's distracted. I'm gonna tell him, Rue, watch the fire. Once the skin gets crispy, go ahead and pull it out. I'll be right back. And then I walk a couple of feet away to eat mine raw.
Okay, are you going to pay any attention to her, Rue, or are you just gonna kind of let what she's doing
I'm
dictate?
assuming Harrow's going to do a Harrow thing,
Yeah.
as I've learned over the past couple weeks. I'm going to do my best to pay attention to the rabbit. We'll probably not get it exactly as she said, but it might be a bit more burnt by the time I actually take it off.
Okay, go ahead and just roll me another intelligence check. Let's see how burnt
Will do.
this rabbit gets. You do a pretty good job. I mean, it's a little blackened, but it's not burnt.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not any gourmet campfire rabbit, but it does its job. Yeah, and you try to not pay attention to horror things. Is probably making all sorts of weird noises that
I
you're.
am trying to be discreet, man. I
Oh, well, that's
clarified.
that's that's why I asked if he's paying any attention to you, and
Oh,
I'm
okay.
I'm just describing it for anything that might not be paying it, that might be paying attention to you.
Okay.
That that's not rude, and just kind of discreet, kind of you know, eating raw animal kind of bestial sounds that are very discreet bestial sounds.
And of course,
Uh,
I tried not to get any of my stuff too dirty.
it yeah. Um, you're pretty used to it at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, you might get a little gory here and there, maybe a couple drops of blood, but you're you're kind of used to it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
As you guys finish this up, and you guys head back and make your way back to Riostile. Um, you guys, I assume, make your way over to the law office or the law master's keep.
Yes.
Okay. Me because all my shit got closed. Let me bring up my campaign notes. Okay. So as you make your way back, very much the same. The only difference this time is the clerk seems to be talking to a pretty well dressed, kind of in the same guard colors and such,
Mm.
little female halfling.
Okay.
Um, you know, kind of, kind of dark blondish hair, pretty well kept. Um, she seems to be, despite being a halfling, she seems to be very stern in her appearance.
Earn?
as yeah, stern,
Okay. Yes. Yes.
stern stoic kind of
Yeah.
look.
No, I understood that. It just cut off a little bit for me. Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. They seem to have been talking about something as you guys enter and seem to have halted their conversation, and attention seems to be pivoted on you two. And um you know, the male gnome, which the Harmon Cobble Belt, as you guys read before, the clerk kind of turns towards you guys and, okay, good. It wasn't as bad as, that gentleman made it out to sound. Good. We didn't have to worry about sending out that other group of people who showed interest in that job after you guys took it. Anywho, so I'm assuming you brought back proof of the deed?
Yes. I pull out the 2 wrapped bundles and I place them.
Yeah, and these bundles, instead of like kind of stained with red, it's
It's
stained
green
with
blood,
green.
remember? Yeah, green blood.
Yeah, it's
That's what I
stained
want to
with
emphasize.
green. Yeah, and
So I start
he's like
unwrapping them.
looking. They're both looking at you very strangely. Like,
Yeah.
what did she do? She sneeze all over that?
No.
Your wolves were haunted.
I
What'd you say?
nod.
Your wolves were haunted.
The wolves are well. We're assuming that. I mean, hoping you guys just didn't go out and gallivanting about and such, and coming back
Haunted.
and saying that haunted.
Haunted as in they were abnormal, and I place them on the desk. I don't care what they have on the desk. I just place it and I start
Yeah,
unwrapping them.
you just place it on the desk, and
Yeah.
this gnome is just like, his face just goes white, and he's just like, "Oh, my work just ruined," because now that were on his desk are just completely covered in blood, and he's probably gonna have to rewrite it all.
Yeah, I unwrap them and explain as I'm unwrapping that they were not normal wolves, appear to be infected by some fiendish curse, and as you can see, their blood is green. Here's the paw of the alpha, which is a huge paw, some of the
Yeah,
fangs, and then a head of one of its younglings.
yeah, the paw is pretty massive. Looking at it and stuff. And the lawmaster's like, which uh
We had to burn the bodies because we think that they were infected by a deer that was cursed. So
well, that's very, and this is coming from the female halfling. She's like, well, that's very interesting.
You should also mention
And
it at
very
all the people you had there.
okay. Well,
there's only one survivor, the one that reported it.
okay. Well, that will probably be more along the lines of the family who sent them out in the first place, is to deal with that and how they want to handle it going further in the future. But we will report that there was suspicious defilement in the area. Maybe somebody of the clergy might want to go with them. I don't know. That's for them to decide and go with. But anywho, it seems like thanks and obviously payment is in order.
Yes,
Uh,
and
uh, and she's like, by the way, and we'll just let you know, I am the law master of this town. Friend Spring Cloak. Just keep your nose clean, because personally, I don't want to, personally, well, you don't want to be on my bad side. Let's put it that way. Granted, this is going to be a little bit extra work for me because of this, but at least you guys took care of it and we didn't lose any men. So that's always, well,
no, you did lose.
unfortunately. Well, they weren't ours, but, we didn't lose any of our guards and such. Sad to hear that they, hopefully the family back, the the ones who own the land and such decide to compensate
The
well,
victims, yeah.
the victims of the deceased. Yeah. But anywho, um, you do have my thanks, and as I said, she kind of motions towards the clerk, and he goes, right. So, how many of them were there again?
It was one big alpha and two younger ones,
Okay.
And one deer.
and one deer.
And so you killed the deer too.
The deer was already dead. We couldn't find the source of the infection, so we may need to ask you to point us to the nearest clergyman that may have an idea of any curses in the area, or
Okay.
curses
Uh
resembling this.
okay. Fair enough. Um like I said, it is pretty late, so you guys will probably have to worry about that in the
Mm-hmm.
next like morning and stuff like that and such. Um is the clerk goes through and out pulls out 5 gold coins and hands it to you guys. And he's like, "I'm sure this will compensate for what you guys had to deal with and the time spent."
Nod and take the gold, and I give Rue 3 because he helped me a lot with the fauna and was very impressed me with trying to track out the animals, and then I'll keep the other 2.
Okay. All right.
Well, thank you.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming you guys are going to make your way over to the Rainy Drum for a night stay.
Oh yeah, I will wrap my paw, like I'll wrap the paw and
Mhm.
leave the fangs for I'm gonna take the paw, one of the fangs, and the head so that they just keep a fang as a reminder of their neglect, and then that's as a player, and then I will take them back with us. Just wanted to clarify, like we are bringing back
Oh,
those.
we're gonna need more than just one of the fangs. We might let you be able to take one part for your questioning of the clergy, but we're gonna need more proof than this to the person that we have
Oh,
to
like you
send
report.
this report to. Yes.
Okay. Then I will give them both fangs and the smaller head so they can see the comparison of the 2 wolves, and then we'll take the paw.
Okay. Okay. They're comfortable with that. They have more
Okay.
to go with.
Okay.
Okay. And you guys wrap up the paw and head off to the Rainy Drum Tavern. If you guys are going to eat, again, it's going to be about 2 copper. Um, depending on drinks and such, might cost a little bit more. And then a room for both of you comfortably would be about 2 silver per night.
Um, I think we had just finished eating when we got there. I can't remember.
Well,
Timeline
this is
wise.
this has been like 3 days. This is like
Oh, that's right.
evening.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah,
You're right. You're right.
of like 3 days later. Yeah.
Okay. I guess. Rue, do you want to eat dinner? I think I'm getting a little hungry.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
So
We'll order dinner.
we'll kind of just expedite this. So
Yeah,
just
but
mark off.
can we order our dinner to go to our rooms? Like, can we bring it to our rooms?
Yeah, she kind of looks at you kind of awkwardly, and she's like, more and more people seem to be asking that for some odd reason. But
Mm,
yeah, sure. As long as you bring back down the dishes, don't leave them up there.
yeah.
Don't need pests.
Agreed.
Yeah. So you guys order your meals, any drinks that you want. Unless you guys are just drinking basic stuff like water and not like
Yeah.
rum and stuff.
I'm
I'm
just drinking,
drinking.
yeah, basics.
Yeah,
Basic,
basic
yeah.
water for me as well.
No charge for water. 2 coppers for the meal, 2 silver. 2 coppers per meal, 2 silver for the room. As
Mm.
you guys kind of go through and take care of this and such. Um, yeah. kind of expedite this to the next day, easy enough. As you guys proceed to go to the it's a very small kind of church. Let's see here. Yeah, a second here. Yeah. Okay. So as you guys go to the local, church here and such, seems to be only one clergy, an older halfling male, seems to be starting to thin on top, but still have a full head. Thinning but fully haired, uh, gray, grayed haired head. Uh, I guess probably the best way to describe this is kind of, obviously in clergy vestments and stuff like that, but kind of probably looking like a Bilbo before he leaves on the in the Hobbit movies. Kind of give you guys an example what he looks like and such. Um, he seems to be taking, tending to the altar and stuff here. It looks like instead of a particular god, it's kind of more of a general all use kind of temple, kind of to the like acceptable gods and stuff like that. And just kind of not really enough funding and probably pious people in this size of a town to warrant having separate temples for separate deities and such. It's just probably just one kind of communal one. As you walk in, he turns to you, big bright smile on his face and goes, "Ah, yes. How can I help you, my children?"
Um, we were sent to talk to you. We have something that you may help us with in identifying. We met some fiends in the woods, wolves that appear to have been infected by some sort of fiendish curse. And maybe you could help us pinpoint if there have been any sightings or possible suspicion of a source of
Ooh,
that could be
I've
cursing it.
I haven't heard of anything like that before. I'm assuming you show him the
Yeah, I
paw
show him
and
the
stuff.
paw and kind of note
Yeah.
that there's green
v-
blood.
very surprised by this, and he's like, "Right. Um. Well, I can do some research into this when I have time. I don't know how well I'll be able to find anything. As you notice, we have kind of a smaller establishment here, but might be able to dig something up."
Maybe my friend Rue could help you. He's very keen with books.
Yeah, let me know what I can do.
Okay, well, I mean, you're free to take a look at and look at what we have and such. Um, and kind of points over to their library section. It's just basically that kind of cabinet that's back there. It's behind me. It's about two shelves, not very wide. Books and that. It's not a very big library selection that they have here um outside of like holy scripture books, which
Um,
you kind of doubt in that would have anything along these lines.
well, maybe I could finish helping you with the chores and you go with my friend Rue and maybe you two can put your heads together while I clean this up.
I mean, roll me a persuasion check.
Okay. I have a negative
And then I'm
one in
gonna switch
persuasion.
to.
It's a genuine persuading
uh
offer.
Okay, well, right, I mean, it's pretty easy right now. I mean, all I'm doing is just sprucing up and tidying up. I might have to step away occasionally when others may require my services. Right now I don't have any funeral rites I have to take care of.
Actually, you
Fortunately,
will.
pardon.
Uh, a party of miners that went out a couple of days ago, all but one were killed by these wolves. So there'll be quite a few funeral rites because we couldn't find the bodies, but there was blood splatter everywhere. So only one survivor.
Oh,
So it's very important that we try to find a possible source of this curse.
well, I was not told of anything about this. They m- in- they might
You
have
will
not even been from here, so they might, if they were from somewhere else, they might be having their rites performed where the rest of the family is and such. Unless I hear something different, I mean, I will keep them in my prayers for their souls to reach safely to the great beyond.
mm,
But until I hear otherwise, I do not I have not heard from any I have not heard from the lawmaster or anything like that about anybody needing funeral rites. We almost had one girl who was going to need some, but she was saved by a couple of people, but
tell me
fortunately.
tell me more, but for I will say this is discretionary. This is we just informed the lawmaker, so you may not hear until later. So to not cause panic, I will say what we talk about is confidential here. Um,
Oh, purely my child, purely.
mhm. Tell me
You
about the
know.
girl though. How did she suddenly get better?
Oh, well, granted confidentiality and such, but she was attacked out in the fields by a large snake. Fortunately, there were some, from what I understand, some, I guess you can consider it, concerned individuals who managed to step in and prevent any more harm and possibly killing the child. Um, would have been a great loss to lose somebody that young. But anywho,
Mm,
um, I was called over to tend to her wounds and to help alleviate the pain and such, which I did. Um, but the family seems to be very grateful of these individuals. Anywho, right. If you don't mind, like I said, just kind of hand you a couple of cleaning supply, a broom,
mhm.
a dust rag, that kind of stuff, and yeah.
Okay. I'll go ahead
All
and
right.
clean up as if I was in the
Yep.
barracks with my dad. So,
Yep. All right. Rue. Uh, religion check.
Sure.
Go ahead and roll it at advantage because the priest guy is helping you occasionally. 15. Okay, so you're kind of pouring through these books and you're kind of going through them kind of slowly just to make sure that you don't miss anything. Um, you spend a good part of the day going through these books. You don't really notice anything. There's a couple of books left by the time that it gets like really late. Um, and you at that point, kind of it's late unless it's an emergency. He kind of wants to, you know, finish up things, have dinner, and probably go to bed kind of situation, pretty soon. So, kind of wrap things up, but doesn't seem to be anything along the lines of so far. Like I said, we might want to come back in the morning and do a little bit more research, but Doesn't seem to be anything out of any of the books that explain like befoulment of beasts by fiendish properties.
Okay. And how many books would you say are left at this point?
Oh, probably for good reading and stuff like that to go through them pretty thoroughly. Probably about maybe 6 books.
Okay. Um,
You know, you went
is
through
it-
the better part throughout the whole entire day, snacking occasionally and stuff like that, Wasn't anything spectacular. It's mostly like bread and stuff like that, but being the kind of soul that, this, priest is, does bring you something to eat while you're doing this and such.
uh,
So I'm assuming as you guys head back to the rainy drum and stuff like that and take your night's rest and stuff. Um,
Uh, I think Rue wanted to say
yeah,
something.
I was gonna ask him.
uh,
He's like, "Does this place close down?"
I mean, I have to go to bed, yes.
Could we
Okay.
borrow those last 6 books? We'll bring them back.
Or I could just read them here and
Oh.
leave when I'm done.
We could guard. I can guard while, and I'll lock up and leave you the key.
Roll me a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Disadvantage. I have a great sword. No one's gonna break in.
Yeah, but
How
also
about
at the
this?
same.
Also, remind him that a bunch of people just died. So, wouldn't you be worried about the village? About more children dying?
All right, go ahead and roll
Plus, if I
normally.
do it, it's less work for you.
Hmm.
Okay, go ahead and roll it normally.
Okay. Let's see how it goes. My persuasion's a -1. Yeah.
He he doesn't want to give people the wrong idea about him still being, unless it's an emergency, still taking in, prayer and stuff like that. So, but he seems to be okay with letting you borrow a couple of the books. And if you bring him back first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Just 6 of them.
Probably not all 6 of them. Probably let you take 2 or 3.
Rue, which ones do you think would be the most useful?
Uh, First, Drew's gonna kind of look at his bag. He's like, "What if I let you hold on some of my books, so I have a reason to come back?"
All right, fine.
Okay, I will trade off uh, a handful of the books I have in my possession, especially my favorite, for the
Mhm.
6 books that I still need to finish reading.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. You hand him some books. He places them on top of the shelf, keep them separate from all the other books and hands you the 6 books to kind of uh pour over and such. You guys, I assume, head back to the rainy drum.
Mm-hmm.
Continue reading these books, continue, having something to eat and stuff like that. Go ahead and roll me another religion check.
Can I assist Rue? Well,
Yeah, go ahead. If you want to assist him with this,
yeah,
go
kind
ahead.
of.
You can
About
either read through some of the books and roll a religion check, or you can just help him and give him advantage.
give him advantage so you can roll again.
All right,
You.
7. Seems like you got more information out of the other books than these books. These books are a lot less informative. Plus, you're getting probably really tired at this point. You've been reading pretty much all nonstop all day. Um,
So,
as no, go ahead.
so as I close the last one, I'm like, "So these are all worthless. I'm going to bed."
Okay.
Okay.
So as you two head to bed and wake up the next morning, returning the books.
Yes. As we said, we'll keep our word and we'll return the books
Yep.
first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Returning the books to him, he thanks you, and you guys make your way back to the Rainy Drum, which at that point seems like a festival has been set up and such. Seems like there'll be a festival later on tonight.
Oh.
Um, You guys make your way back. There seems to be a wagon coming into town, kind of parking kind of nearby the town square and such. As you guys make your way back to the Rainy Drum, that's where we'll pick up for the main part of the campaign with you two.
All right.
Ooh.
That was cool.
And hopefully I can get through the last group.
Best of luck.
Well, they don't have any combat, so.
All right.
Remind me, Aster, what is
Mhm.
your bedtime?
Aster's not here and he's muted.
No, 11:30-ish. Okay. So that's 8:30 our time.
That's like that's in like 45 minutes or so.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck then with the group. I hope in 45 minutes to get quite a bit done.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can pound these 3 out real quick. Anywho,
Oh my
catch you later,
goodness.
Cados.
Bye.
Okay, I'm sorry, I have bad word choices.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Okay. All right. So you 3, Professor Professor Goosewaddle, Freyja, and Pazuzu. As you 3, I'm just getting stuff situated on my end, have just recently started running away from the town of Norfolk, trying to get away from a Lord Griffith, who unfortunately was disgraced in public by your small compatriot here. Um, as you guys run towards the south, you guys eventually notice coming up off in the distance a walled structure. You guys have seen this before as you guys have had to deal with this coming into the Republic when you guys were coming from the Empire. Um this seems to be one of the guarded outposts that the Republic has set up between their lands and other lands. Generally uh generally patrolled by the guards known as the Grinrons. Um, as you guys start to approach this area, a thought comes across your mind of how do you guys get by this? Did you guys notice, the guards seem to be stopping and talking and taking tally and stuff like that of people who are leaving? It seems like it moves quicker leaving than it did for the first time when you guys came into the Republic. Seems like that there's might be less to do leaving as there was entering. Um, as you do, you notice probably about 3 other groups. Um, one notices to be about a merchant caravan. Another one, more than likely, some kind of military kind of group. And the last one seems to be like a group of like construction workers and such. Um, it seems like you guys can either try to go through this on your own or maybe try to barter passage with one of these other groups. Or you can chance, even though Pazuzu, you know about how treacherous this would be, of trying to cross the Kenhol Mountains, which are home to various creatures and other nasty things that become worse the further you are from a civilized area. Where you came from, Pazuzu, it wasn't so bad right there, but once you got out a certain distance, it started getting really bad. Goblin ambushes and other mountainous creatures that call the area home, prey upon those foolhardy or dumb enough to try crossing the mountains without being well prepared. And considering the 3 of you left town as quickly as you could and left quite a bit of your possessions behind that you guys didn't have on person. What would you three like to do?
Well, I say we try to get in with this merchant group here. I'm familiar with the merchants, being from them. And yeah, if we could sneak these guys on, especially this little guy, I think we have a good chance of getting through here, guys. I can even cause a distraction if we need.
Well, I can always just turn into a mule and just go along out.
Yes, yes.
uh,
You cause the distraction. I go in. That way I can get rid of both of you. Distraction, good. You mule, go. We good.
Okay, so I say we should go up to these merchants and see if we can get you on their caravan.
Yes, I can sell them
Okay.
many options. Jobs. Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
So
well, I'm gonna find some place that I won't be noticed, and I'm gonna wild shape into a mule.
you guys are kind of far enough back. There's a little bit of like foliage cover if you want to and stuff. You guys aren't like right next to these wagons and stuff. You guys are still a decent distance away. You can just kind of tell roughly by the folk who are near the wagons and how they're presented and stuff. Like I said, especially with the merchant one and your background, Freya, you can definitely tell that the very first group is a merchant caravan.
All right. Professor Goosewaddle, come with
I'm
me.
I'm trying to remember, how long does your wild shape last for, Feugy? Is it an hour per druid level? I need, god damn it. That's the thing about druids. Oh, did you just post it for me?
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
God.
so long.
Thanks. Yeah, I know. It's a pain in. You can transform to any bees V shape. The number of hours equal to half your druid level rounded down. So you can stay wild shaped as a mule for an hour per wild shape.
All right, guys, we don't have too much time to get this done.
I mean, generally, with the way that it looks and stuff like that, the merchant caravan probably would be up pretty quick. So there wouldn't be much time to do too much discussion with them. But and they probably giving your background and stuff, you probably assume probably can get through the gate before Pazuzu has issues. At
All
least
right.
here at the gate.
All right, little guy, let's go.
All right, now I'm still riding
Okay.
on my koala bear, by the way. It's my mount.
Okay.
So I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so we hustle. We're hustling.
Yeah, koala's going. Okay, so
Goosewaddle
as you
doesn't
guys,
walk on his own like a peasant. Talking about.
as you guys make your way up to the probably what would be the lead caravan cart, doesn't take long. Seems like a figure, kind of turns on the seat on the cart. Kind of seems to notice you guys, especially with the loud clunk, clunk, clunk of your giant koala bear robot, and probably the clip clop of Pazuzu the mule. Seems to turn in her seat and hop down. You notice that this is a like a female dwarf, long braided blonde hair, um, kind of a bit of stubble, kind of like an Abraham Lincoln stubble going on. Uh, Yay dwarves! um, you know, she looks over to you guys and she goes, "Ah, yes. Um, what can I possibly do for you?" Um, she kind of motions for kind of a name.
Greetings,
I
friend.
walk up to her and kind of nuzzle. I want to get petted.
Greetings, friend. I am Freya Frydenlund from the capital of Uswarg, and we would like to have a help getting through here today. We don't have our caravan, and we just need kind of passage through here.
Roll me a deception check.
Not persuasion.
No, because you're like, we don't have our caravan here and stuff, but we need to get through. 10. You know, she's like, right. You know, from. Let's see here. Ooh, I'm trying to remember where you were from again and stuff. I know you're up in Uswarg, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, right. Caravan from Uswarg all the way down here. Seems a little odd, but anywho. Right. So, looking for passage for, see here, 2 of you, it seems?
Yes. My mule will ride along, but me and this little guy, we are here to seek passage.
I do happy taps when she mentioned me.
And if there is any issue, I can entertain while we ride. I strum my lute a little bit.
Okay. Right. Anyways, I suppose we can get you passage, with our group. Granted, it will, yeah, it'll probably, with having to deal with paperwork, having to deal with the guards and stuff. Oh, I'd say probably about 30 gold.
Professor Goosewaddle hiccups a little bit.
Yes.
How about I toss you 1 gold and a good song? It's worth twice that much.
Yeah, there's no persuasion with that low of a price. No, she's not having any of that. She seems even sterner about the 30. She goes from kind of this kind of happier jovial to kind of be like, no, it's 30.
Okay. Professor Goosewaddle kind of wants to pop in. He goes, "Sir, please do not mind. I am the great enormous."
Did you say sir?
Oh, yeah, wait, is it sir or was it a female? I can't remember what you said.
Lady.
Yeah,
It's a woman.
you say
Or do- okay,
you say
I was like,
sir, and she goes,
wait, hang on.
I'm
I
I'm a
didn't know she was-
ma'am.
I misheard you. I didn't say that. I just misheard what you said. I heard dwarf. I didn't
I just
know
think
what
it's funny that you mistaken her for Miss. So I'm running with it. I'm sorry.
okay. Well, I say, please do not mind my assistant. I am the great gnomish inventor, Professor Goosewaddle. Notice my robot. I have come into this town to start a business opportunity. She knows merchants to help us with you. I tell you what, while I am in town, I will share 10% of my shiny profits with you over the course of my business venture.
Roll me a deception check at disadvantage.
Ouch! Why is that a disadvantage? That hurts. Where's a mule helping you when you need one? Ouchies.
6. Yeah, she's like, especially with you claiming to be a gnome, she can definitely see you're a kobold, some kind of lizard. She's like, gnome, right. Well, as I said, still do better with the 30 gold up front. I mean, if you're not willing to pay with us, you can go check with one of the other groups, but 30's where it's going to stand.
I pat my 25 gold pieces like, oh, I don't have enough.
I pull out 5 in my palm.
I have this lovely signet ring. If you would take that, it can fetch twice, triple, quadruple the amount you're asking.
Roll deception check at disadvantage.
Hmm.
18. Granted, with all the other issues and stuff like that, the DC was quite a bit higher than that. So she's just like, "Eh, we'll do the 30 gold, or you're more than welcome to join one of the other groups behind us. If you're not willing to do the 30 gold, I'm tired of bargaining at this point. If you don't want to do the 30 gold, then please leave."
I kind of hoof and I start walking away.
Okay.
Start going with the mule.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, there seems to be the group of workers and the group of mercenaries.
All right. I sadly turn from the merchants. My father will hear of this.
She
And
does not seem threatened by you at all because you're
take off.
dead. Yeah.
All right. The workers, or what did you say?
There seems to be a band of mercenaries.
All right. Workers or mercenaries. Where are we going?
I mean, I'm a mule. Does either of the groups have any good-looking female pack animals with them?
Don't know about female, but pack animals more than likely are with the workers. The mercenaries, it seems like probably whatever they have is on their wagon, which is just one wagon.
All right, I go to the pack animals with the workers, and I just kind of cozy on in there, like, oh, hey, sup.
Roll me an animal handling check as the mule. So if it doesn't have animal handling on the mule, then roll wisdom on the mule.
Oh wow, mules are decently wise.
Well, you keep your intelligence, wisdom, and charisma as a druid.
Yeah.
18? These other mules seem to warm up to you and just kind of like accepting of you of, okay, I guess this one's joining us in our group of carrying shit.
I walk up to the I walk up to the Pazuzu mule and I kind of tap on him, pat on his back, and say, "Hello, friends." We are looking to hop a caravan, and our mule will ride beside for me and my friend. Do you mind if we join you?
At this point, you notice a very tall, very muscular, half orc and male, walk up, pretty decent sized tusks coming out from the side of his mouth. And, as he walks up to you guys, he's like, "Well, ride with." As you notice, they're all walking. The wagon and the pack animals are to carry their stuff, so they are currently walking. There is no riding with these guys. We, if you need a group to go with, I guess we can be okay with that. We're currently going to go to a job that we're contracted to work at. My name is Bonram, and it might be.
Oh, hello. I am Freya Friedenlund, and I come from the capital of Uswarg.
Don't know much about Uswarg and your weird lizard on a even weirder bear.
Lizard, where? Sir, resent that remark, but Mr. Bottom Man, I would come with.
It's Bonrun, but whatever.
What I said, Bottom. Have a good day. I am Professor Bottom.
Okay, and seems like your mule has gotten along really well with ours. That's interesting. Especially Rudy there. He doesn't generally tend to get along with anybody.
I bow to him. Just a little head nod.
To
yes.
Rudy or to this half orc?
To this half orc.
He seems, he notices this and he seems very it seems odd that this creature seems to understand what he's talking. It seems to be like, right, I need to be careful about what I say. Anywho.
And then I start nodding to all the pack animals too. It's like, oh, no, nod, yep, nod. I'm just a mule that nods.
You might want to get that checked. Anyways, as he kind of turns to, tells you and kind of points towards Pazuzu. Anyways, so, oh yeah, I forgot to ask you, do you just look like a normal mule or are you a weirdo blue mule?
Ooh.
I mean, I guess if you're trying to blend in, you'd look normal, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I guess I would.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure that he's not even weirded out more by a blue mule. But okay. So after a while, you know, you guys discuss a little bit. The wagons seem to be going forward. The merchants are gone at this point. It seems like the mercenaries are starting to talk. Anyways, as you start talking to like I said, this half orc Bonrun, he tells you, okay, well, we can't pay for your if you don't have your paperwork, we can't pay for it. So you'll need to pay for that. Which, by the way, you three realize whatever passport or whatever that you guys got for the Republic, you guys left back in the inn that you guys fled from. So, and he tells you guys it'll be 5 gold per person. Pazuzu's a mule, so doesn't cost anything for animals, but you two will need to cough off 5 gold. Other than that, it doesn't seem like he has an issue with you guys going with them.
How long would it take me to falsify the document?
A lot longer time than what you have left in line.
Oh boy. With gritted teeth and very great reluctance, Professor Goosewaddle hands over 5 gold without looking. He has his hand out.
Okay. Okay. He takes the gold from you, and I'm assuming you pay up to.
Yeah, I hand him 5 gold.
You're like, wow, a lot more reasonable than the merchants.
We are very grateful for your assistance.
As you.
Anyways, as you guys continue to go through and such, as you guys get up towards the front with these workers and stuff, the Gunrons, one of them walks up and such, and starts going through his whole spiel and stuff, and starts checking papers, and he's like, I'm missing 2. He's like, oh, right. Well, unfortunately, we have 2 that don't have any of their paperwork with them, but they were hired as additional contracted work afterwards. That would be Leia here. She is a excellent designer, which we need for the construction of this building, as you can tell by her clothing, as he's kind of pointing towards you. And this is Gunk. Gunk here, despite his looks, is very smart. He's come up with a new invention that will help and quicken the construction process of laying down a foundation with that weird looking bear creature. And the guards are just like, right.
I slap my hand over Professor Goosewaddle's mouth just to make sure he doesn't say anything and screw it up.
As I'm puffing up and I says, I'm a
and the half orcs. Oh, don't mind him. You know how intelligent people are. They're quite eccentric and very colorful people. And guard's like, right. I've dealt with a couple of them before.
When I
Anyways,
sharply looked at him, looked nothing,
and
nothing.
and this guy's like, even though they don't have their paperwork, we need to get to our job site as quickly as possible. Can we possibly expedite this? We will be back this way, and at that point, they can get their paperwork taken care of. In which case, the guard's like, "All right, fine, I'll let you guys pass, without an issue and stuff." Um, as and it seems to go through without an issue. He hands over the 10 gold that was given to him earlier. Um, okay. Uh, as you guys then proceed to make it past this guard station, um, and into the Praole Coast. As you guys are leaving, let's see here. Pazuzus. Since your computer froze, Feugy, I'm going to check for you real quick as a mule. I think is that a
I'm wondering why
CR0 or
down there for a while.
Same.
yeah. Hopefully
Oh,
I
he
didn't mess
messed up
up
all the
Aster
pictures.
stuff too much.
Uh-oh.
Did he? Oh, yeah,
He'll
he
be
moved
back,
by
I'm
one.
sure.
Yeah, he'll be back, so when he comes back, it should shift it back over. Okay, so same perception, so not anything different. See here. Yeah. I would say as you guys are starting to make your way through the guard gate, Pazuzu is probably the first one to notice. The clipping and clopping of horse hooves and such, as all of a sudden, you guys noticed from the same direction that you guys were coming from down the road, seems to be a Grinron coming up riding on horseback.
Ron.
That's the guards. Not quite sure what's going to go happen because you guys are gone before he starts explaining stuff and such, but as you guys continue down the path, um as you guys make your way through this path, eventually it seems like you eventually start to get to a point that's along the lines of the Praole Coast version, which is just basically a guard tower and like a little guard shack. It's not as fortified or anything like that, and just basically just kind of checks through things. It's like, right, go on. Eventually, a while after that, I would say is when your wild shape drops, and everybody is startled and shocked to see this little tiny blue dwarf man walking instead of this mule that was originally there.
Professor Goosewaddle.
Hey
That's
guys.
shocked as well.
Well, let's say I've seen everything now, right? Well, I mean, that's on you, not me. So, I've already taken enough heat, I would say, because I'm assuming you guys you're not going to go with us. Um, and you're probably going to end up going your own way. Uh, just like I said, it starts getting later and later and such. At that point, like I said, you guys would probably eventually get to a split in the road. Um, you kind of notice a sign. One points Riostile off towards the east, and Kinlan off towards the east. Um, yeah, Kinlan, yeah. So they at that point the workers are like, well, we're heading off down towards oh, where are they going? I know they're going south. That's all I know. Come on. Don't do this to me. Of course, you're being really big pain in. Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted. Yeah, they tell you that they're going all the way south, the Grim set. Um, so probably not being in the direction that you guys want to go, and especially considering they're going to be staying in Kinallen or Kinlan. Sorry. Um, you guys decide it's probably best at this point to split paths as you guys go towards Riostile because Kinlan seems a little too close to Norfolk, especially since it's pretty close to on the other side of the border. And kind of feel like that might be a little too close and a little too obvious for Lord Griffith to find you and take you guys back and do whatever he's going to do after you guys disgraced him in the middle of public. So, as you guys decide to more than likely to keep ahead of any possible pursuers, decide to push through the night. You guys next couple of days gaining about 3 levels of exhaustion. You guys eventually make it to the outskirts of the town of Riostile. As you guys come upon this town full of plantations and off in the distance in a couple of different directions you notice like white wisps of smoke. um like I said, the picture's pretty, it's pretty close to the uh give me a second here. I don't know why I forgot the name and just blanked on me. The Canholm Mountains. You can kind of see them off a bit in the distance behind this town. Um, it as you guys start coming in the town and such, it seems like that they're setting up for something in the town square. You notice an inn called the Rainy Drum Tavern. Um, More than likely deciding it's probably going to be a good place to hide out, lay low, possibly keep some food in your belly, and you know, uh, you know, get rid of this exhaustion that you guys have accumulated over 3 days. Um, I'm assuming you guys want to go ahead and head on into the Rainy Drum here.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yes.
Okay. As you go in, you notice that you notice that it seems to be ran by a female half elf. Red, long red hair. Behind her, as she seems to be working the bar counter and stuff. Behind her seems to be 3 giant barrels. Each one of them seem to be branded and stamped um, with a different name that kind of has a logo going with it. Yeah, one of them says bronze dust. It seems to have like a minor motif to it. Uh, snake mark. Yeah, snake mark, which kind of has this like serpentine snake kind of wrapping around the lettering, and soft Dane, which seems to be this posh gentleman kind of leaning up against the E on soft Dane. Um, you know, no idea what's in these barrels, but these giant, massive barrels sit behind her. You hear her occasionally holler back to the back, and is responded by a male voice. You're assuming probably something to do with like maybe a kitchen or something, and she's shouting back orders, and you hear things, repeating of orders and shouts of notifications that the orders are ready and such. Other than that, you notice a female halfling with dirty brown hair, um, running around. This barmaid kind of running around, very quick for her size, going to and fro tables and delivering and picking up used you know used glasses and other utensils and stuff, and placing orders of food and drink and such. Like I said, this is probably about early afternoon by the time you guys get here. Um, what would you guys like to do?
Uh, I'll, I guess I'll walk up and talk to the, what was it, a half elf behind
Yeah,
the
it's a
bar?
female half elf. Yeah.
I'll go up and talk to her. Yes, excuse me. We've had a very long
Well,
journey.
hold one moment here while I finish getting, she's finishing up a couple of orders, and she kind of, slides down to you. Sorry so much about that. You know, what can I get for you?
We've had a very long journey. We would just like 3 meals and a place to sleep.
Yeah, I can kind of tell you kind of have a little something going on there. Um, Anywho, right. Well, one room. Which how many of you are there? I'm assuming there's you.
I
Kind
step
of.
up. Me and this little guy over here.
Would you quit calling me little guy? I am Professor Goosewaddle.
Right. I mean, it might be a little tight, but one room would probably be okay for all three of you. You guys are looking to save some. It costs 2 silver per night. Meals are 2 copper, unless you're wanting a specific kind of drink. If you want one of the families or an ale or something like that, that's obviously going to cost you extra. Um, but anywho, like I said, if you want one room, that's going to be 2 silver. If you want more than that, then obviously it's going to cost more than that.
We
But
take one room.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and take one room.
we do have one stipulation though. That thing, and she kind of points to the giant koala robot. That's going to have to stay out back. We don't allow, especially big pets
He's a
inside.
much, but yes, we will set him outside.
Okay, yeah. I guess is you're going to go ahead and take care of that and stuff. And
Yes,
you
yes,
guys,
yes, yes.
yeah. Uh, yeah, you go out back. There's kind of like a temporary kind of like stable thing. There's nothing back there right now, no horses
Mhm.
or anything like that. Looks like, straw for horses and stuff like that to kind of lay and stuff like that, but yeah, I mean, it's just like, "Oh, okay, well, this is pretty big." I mean, it at least keeps them out of the rain and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, as you guys kind of, go about your, I guess you guys go ahead and get your room. If you guys are gonna eat, like I said, if you want me to, I can take care of the bookkeeping of the coins and stuff like that later, so that way we can get through this a little bit quicker and
Yes,
stuff like that
please.
because there's
Mhm.
not
Yeah,
too
do
much
that.
time. Okay, so I'll go ahead and take care of the bookkeeping. So I'm assuming you guys are gonna stay for 3 nights. Are you guys eating a meal here every day? And if so, are you guys having anything to drink that isn't water?
No,
Every
I'm
night
going.
I'll have some of the snake, whatever.
Okay, so that's gonna cost you an extra 1 silver,
Okay, that's
per
fine.
night. So, but yeah,
And is
it's
there
not that
Yes,
much.
any?
and just one a night.
Okay, and 1 for you too? Got it. You use the same one, snake,
I'm.
or are you
I'll have a meal
wanting
a
one of
night,
the
but I'm drinking like water. So,
Okay.
and I would like for my Professor Goosewaddle to randomly tinker on random objects while for these days doing that. He's
Okay.
working on many inventions.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Um,
And I'll tell my companions that I'll take care of the room prices since I didn't have to pay the 5 gold to get out of town.
okay.
And then Professor Goosewaddle is also 3 days keeping an eye out of value.
You
Your
what?
mic
Sorry.
wasn't picking up.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it
Professor
kinda
Goosewaddle is also like in 3 days keeping an eye out for anything of value in the area on the notes of my partner.
keeping an eye out for what?
Shiny.
Sorry.
Shiny.
Oh,
Anything
okay.
shiny.
Shiny. Okay. Um, what family are you drinking, Feugy?
There's 3 of them, right?
Yeah, bronze dust, snake.
I'll try a different one each night.
Okay. Okay. Um. Alrighty. Let's see here. Okay, so you're gonna be tinkering. Are you going exploring like at night or something like that, Bubba? Are you going out and you know hunting for shinies at night?
I'll hop on the koala and like make some rounds every now and again. Yeah, he's not going like
Hunt for,
too
okay,
far away from the place that they're staying.
okay, okay.
And
It's perfectly fine.
he's not getting too far from me.
Okay, so you're going to go with him. Got it. So, okay, so you're tinkering and exploring at night. You're following him at night. Anything else that you're doing, Feugy?
Not just making sure Professor Goosewaddle doesn't get into any trouble.
Okay, and Khaleesi, what is your character? What's Freyja doing on the 3 days? Right.
She'll be practicing, practicing her singing and her dancing routines and writing stories and songs about what they're up to.
Okay,
Like, that's all she'll do.
easy enough, as you go through that and such. All right. So Goosewaddle, you're on the hunt every night. Roll me 3 separate perception checks.
Where the heck is? Okay, there we go. Oh, pop. Well, that's fantastic.
Okay.
We're off to a good start.
That's day 1, day 2,
Sweet.
and day 3. Okay. Day 1, nothing catches your attention at all. As you kind of go exploring the towns and stuff like that. Day 2, as you're kind of going out, like I said, late at night and stuff. Feugy, are you talking? You're muted if you are.
I don't know what
I think he's talking to my son.
Okay. Really?
Oh, okay. Sorry. So the second night, probably the most interesting thing that you notice is that you go by a kind of an odd looking shop. The name of it is yeah. The name of it is called the Dizzy Goose Emporium. And just from the outside looking in occasionally through the windows, you notice something shiny inside that you might want if you decide to go inside one other day. But currently, you're just kind of scouting about possible targets, I guess, at this point.
Yep.
So as you're
Do
kind
do
of looking.
I notice
No,
that
I
he noticed?
I try to be as completely nonchalant as possible because I know that he's following me.
But I believe
Roll.
I've been
Okay.
following you enough. I know the
Roll a
twinkling heart.
performance check for you, Goose. Roll a perception check for you, Pazuzu.
Oh no.
Yeah, he puts on a really good front, but you kind of see the itch that you've become so accustomed to as you guys pass outside the window of this, as I stated before, the Dizzy Goose Emporium. And like I said, looking inside and stuff through this and such, you notice it's seems to be just kind of from the bit that you can see from the window and stuff. It looks like a shop that's ran by a hoarder. Okay, so anyways, the third and final night. You don't notice anything shiny, but I will tell you this. The third night is you and Pazuzu are out on your shiny hunt expeditions. You notice three cloaked figures kind of moving about in the shadows. Um and at give me a second here. At the Weeping Wood Apothecary. Um here, like I said, you notice that these figures are kind of. It seems odd their movement and such, but without possibly getting closer, that's about all you can tell. There's these three odd cloaked figures. Even for the short amount of time that you've been here, they seem to be odd, outplaced from what normally would be going about here.
So because I noticed this, and I'm a little bit of a chicken. Professor Goosewaddle, make sure Pazuzu knows it. You see that over there? Guys, chat. They're going to the
You
pocket
keep cutting
cave.
in and out, Bubba.
I was kind of stuttering on purpose. It's like, so he looks at Pazuzu and goes, "Did you just see that over there? Three guys in the hooded figure. The apothecary. See that? They were really. I'm not going that way, but you might want to keep an eye out." Starts going the other way.
Okay.
I take note of them, but that's all I can do. I just take note of them.
Okay. As you guys head back to the Rainy Drum for your third and final night. I will say at this point, we will pick up from you guys at this point where you guys will be essentially waking up for the long campaign.
Oh, okay. You were able to squeeze it in.
Yep. I'm just sending out a message to tell everybody to come back on so we can say our goodbyes and get ready to go. Yeah, they were the one that I knew was going to be the quickest.
Mm.
Aster lives. He lives.
I've been here the whole time. Well, actually, I missed a little bit of Cados and Zel, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, while they were playing, I got a webcam on the way.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
nice.
Yay!
I don't think I can hold this phone for a longer session.
I was in chat like, dude, I will buy you a webcam. I get my first paycheck next Friday, I think.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so everybody is back. Great. So, yeah, we'll pick up next Sunday at our 6:30 Central, 7 Aster, 4:30 California time. And yeah, unless, hopefully everybody had fun. If there's
Uh,
anything anybody wants to say that doesn't spoil their part of the story, feel free to talk. But other than that, I think we're done.
well, I guess for me, I watched all of it, so and it'll also be up uh on YouTube like before the next session. But
Yeah, I know,
yeah,
but I kind of want to keep some mystery and stuff if I
yeah.
can.
I know how to keep player knowledge apart from character knowledge. My thing was like I really enjoyed seeing all like the little ways things like interlock between I guess in particular me and Lonnie's campaign versus Kados and Zels.
Mm.
Because
I know exactly which part you guys are talking about.
yeah, there were a couple of parts where I was like, that was me, I did that. So
I'm sure there was a couple of parts like, damn it, that's why we couldn't do that.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like how you wove that together, Hesper. That was masterfully done.
Yeah. Hopefully everybody had fun.
Yeah.
I am excited
And
on this campaign to actually have been playing a role that I've never played before, so this is pretty exciting to me.
yeah, it's been tank, 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 and then all of a sudden chicken shit.
Yeah, this is gonna be great.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
I don't think I'm really doing anything different, but I guess I'm doing like a different combination of things I've done before.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, you only you get to a certain point, where you kind of done it before, especially
Mm-hmm.
if you played a martial class and you played a spellcaster. You know, they're all kind of in the same boat to some extent. Yeah, I guess if nobody else has anything else, we can. I'm guessing that's about it. Doesn't seem like anybody else is piping up.
I think it was very, very interesting, and I look forward to session 1.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
Now I
definitely
gotta
glad to be playing again.
now I gotta write session 1.
You can do it. I'm interested in the new structure that you're doing on, milestone leveling rather than experience. Excited for that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody will be. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Probably won't be the first big thing because the first big thing I'm going to kind of count is you guys getting to level 3, but you guys are already level 3. So it'd probably be the next big thing. So, the big thing that you guys figure out and do here, not going to level, but the next big thing you guys probably will level.
Professor
You know.
Goosewaddle has some good ideas.
Oh yeah, I guess I forgot to do that. Yeah, you're still here. Roll me 3 Tinkerer tool
Fantastic.
things. Yeah, I forgot.
Tinkerer tool. Attribute, should have wisdom, right?
Dexterity.
Dexterity.
Or intelligence, depending on what you're planning on doing. If you're actually building dexterity, if you're planning something, intelligence.
Right now I'm building something. I'm gonna think of what I'm building too.
Yeah, depending
And
on
then
your
I'm gonna
tech
do
self.
two buildings and a planning. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you once you get your. Okay.
And then my last.
Okay. So the last one is your planning one?
That's the planning one. Yep.
Okay. I'd say you're building one, you get about halfway to 3/4 of the way, or not 3/4, 1/3 of the way to halfway to coming up with whatever you're planning on building. Your planning phase, you got something planned.
Okay. Cool.
So you
Yeah.
just let me know what you're planning on building and what your plans are, and I'll let you know if they work or not, or if you need to change them.
Will do. Will do.
Outside of that, I think we're done for the night,
Wait,
guys.
do I notice that he's planning something?
If you watch him the whole time, I guess it depends on how discreet you want to be about it, Bubba. Are you being very discreet about what you're building, or are you being
Yes, because
out in the
I'm
open?
actually sleeping. Like some of the times when I'm planning, I'm going to the stables where my thing is, and I'm like fake sleeping when I figure he's watching. So I'm trying to be very deceptive about this. I know that he's
Okay.
spying on me at all times.
Well, if you're kind of sleeping and you're just kind of planning and then occasionally writing stuff down, unless you actually go through the stuff, then yeah, no. Um, Building's a little bit more difficult to figure out. Or building's a little bit easier to figure out rather than planning, especially if he's just kind of thinking about it and then just jotting down notes and stuff like that instead of actually drawing out blueprints, which is kind of what sounds like you're planning on doing.
No, I just go for it.
You're okay. So if you're trying to hide the blueprints, roll a deception, roll a perception.
Okay, roll a deception. Yes. Okay, I got this. Don't.
I'm
If you
just
put high
waiting.
perception on your character just for me, you're a jerk.
Yeah, well, my character sheet ain't even showing up.
Here, I can probably get it up and roll it for you if you want me to. Just to try to get things done as quickly as possible.
Yeah, Hesper, get it up for him.
Are you just
Actually,
gonna?
I don't care if he sees me building it as long as he doesn't know the purpose.
Okay, well, I think what he's talking about was the plans. The
Okay,
building
that's fine. As long as he doesn't know the purpose, that's fine. Okay, yeah. Cool, let's do.
is your thing doing the same thing mine is. Fugi's just constantly building the D20 die.
No, I just have a white screen. Like my character sheet ain't even showing up.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
try
well, I mean, it
exiting.
doesn't matter. I know he's. I always know he's planning something.
Well, I think I know. Yeah, I can. Yeah, just roll me a d20. I know what your passive perception is, so I can go from that.
Yeah, I don't think it's rolling either.
I'll roll him a d20. Here you go.
Well, if you're gonna roll
Roll
a
20
d20,
says it's time for bed.
pretty much. Do you want me? Do you want me to roll
Yeah.
it for you, Feugy?
My roll 20
Yeah, that's fine.
stop.
Okay, I'll roll it and.
Oh, come
Yeah,
on. Mine was
roll
so much
20.
better.
I can't
You-
even see.
Mine's
You
down too.
kinda- You kind of watch his blueprints and stuff like that coming into fruition. Not 100% sure what he's planning on doing, but you got a decent idea. Sorry, his character sheet wasn't working, Bubba.
Dude, I'm getting
Right,
a
dude,
message
roll
at the top of
20.
the stream. It says, this page is slowing down Firefox. To speed up your browser, stop this page. Then a big bar that just says stop.
All right, so if we don't have anything else, we're going to go ahead and call it a night and catch you guys next Sunday.
Yeah, so
Alright.
a note to self is while I was like scrambling to get all this together, totally forgot to add Hesper to the map scene somewhere, and that made things more of a hassle for me because I had to keep switching back and forth between whenever somebody rolled a die, I tried to go to a map screen, and anytime Hesper was like explaining something, I had to get Hesper on screen. So it was like.
You're like the crazy cameraman. Dun, 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 dun. Right before in the basketball game where they like zoom in and then zoom out.
Yeah. So I gotta get Hesper on the map screen between I didn't want to like do all that in like the middle of recording, so I'll just do it next
I can
time.
understand, yeah. Okay.
But that's it for me.
Good night, everybody.
Alright.
Good night.
Aw.
Night.
Hey, Rubear.
Night.
Good night, Ruben.
Good night, everybody.
Take care.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night.
Bye. Good night, so.